Hey, Katie, how you doing? And hey, Pokey, how you doing? Oh, I forgot to go pick up the package. Dang it. I was out running errands and I went right by there and I completely forgot. I'm so sorry. So I have to do it tomorrow. Okay, I'll have to make sure I give myself a reminder. Start gently is first. Boy, you're just winning all over the place, aren't you, Darth? You got the kick pull coupon, early kick pull coupon, and you were here first. You're on a roll this week. There we go. So, still got spots for bingo. So if anybody wants to join up and play, and if you don't have a card yet, well, now's the time. Now, there are people who are ahead of you from yesterday, but that's okay because it's still wide open. Can't click. Oh, what's going on, Storm? Sorry to hear that. All right. Thank you for the heart me's. Thank you for the populars. Nothing created the universe. It's always been here. Hey, Reckless. That's the evidence we have. We have more evidence that the universe has always existed than we have of God. I'll stand on 10 toes on that. And if you think I'm wrong, request up and let's talk about it. Whoa. That was a little scary. My door just opened randomly. Have you met a Christian that you'd say is intelligent? Yeah, I've met many of them. See, irrationality and intelligence are two completely different things. So I've met many people who are super intelligent, really, really smart, and just held irrational beliefs. I guess it's beyond our brains that the universe has always been here. No, it's not beyond physicists' brains. They're the ones who found the evidence. So it can't be beyond their brains if it's evidence. Maybe some people, but not everybody. What God are you referring to? A mind that created the universe. But I only want to talk to people who believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. Protons can tell when you're observing them. That's a misconception. That's not true. Because that implies that protons have minds, which they don't. I've evolved into my final form, host of the demon. Congratulations. That, I think, is... I don't think... Yeah, I'm with you, Darth. I'm still evolving, too. I'm just talking to YouTube chat. It's not beyond mind to understand complexities don't need a God. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you, Katie. I mean, just saying something that's complex means you understand it to some degree. Why are Christians so convinced? Cope. Fear. Pax. So just remember, everybody, cards are still here. It looks like the cards from yesterday did not change, but don't quote me on that because they're really small and it's hard for me to see, but it doesn't look like they changed. But I can say the marks are still there. So those did not go away. The zone theory religion? That sounds like a diet from like the 90s. I don't think it would matter what I or anyone else said to try and convince you. You believe what you want, and I'll believe what I want to believe. Well, it seems like a cop-out, especially if you're a Christian. That's not your job. And wow, Amun Ra with a $10 super chat. I love your calm demeanor. Does more good than your destroyed attitude. Do you have a backstory video? I don't have a backstory video, but I'll post one. You know what? I've been looking to post some. You know what? I'll post one. I'll do a longer explainer video on YouTube. I'll take like 10 minutes and post a backstory. However, actually, you can actually see my backstory on the Girls Gone Godless podcast. And the title of their podcast is The Girls Gone Godless. It's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple. I'm probably missing one, but I know it's on those three. And the name of the episode is called God is a Neckbeard. So look at that. I just gave Girls Gone Godless some free promo. So they're going to be really happy. But I don't think they're here to see it. How much smaller do you think religions would be without brainwashing kids? They may not even exist. Yeah, 3G is amazing. I agree with you, Reckless. Totally agree. And okay, so I'm still logged into this account. So let me log into my alt so I can get to the guest queue instead of clicking the damn button on my computer 20 times. There. Okay. No, Neo, that's not true. So you're going to want to look at the 2024 Copenhagen survey, and 68% of scientists say that the Big Bang has nothing to do with time emerging. So they'll say it's at least 13.8 billion years old. All right, so I'll have to tap this stupid button one time. I have to do this one time. So tap the screen to like, repost, and let's do everything we can to support the live. And if you are at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and you have evidence that God is real, request up and let's talk. So let's bring up a friendly real quick, and then we'll get to some guests.
Hey there, I only got a few minutes, but I took a couple days of a mental break from the internet, and it's actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's just it's like a bouncing roller coaster with my dad's health and stuff, and it's just I can't.
Charita, I am not unhappy. Yeah, I hear that. Well,
and so
I'm sorry to hear that.
Just pass and just be done with it. I know that probably sounds mean to a lot of people, but I just want the suffering to fucking be done. This is wild.
Thanks, Chris.
And Christians somehow love fucking suffering. And anyway, oh, by the way, can you hear me? I'm on Wi-Fi now.
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So when I go live, and
you sound like you're like in a waiting room or so, like in an auditorium almost. So you must be in a really big fucking room.
I am in an empty room because it's in my living room, and I got rid of my couch because I thought I was moving, and now I'm not because I have to be closer to my dad.
Oh, gotcha.
And, yeah, so I have to stay here another year, which is that should be interesting, but
yeah,
it's fucking wild.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's why it echoes. But yeah, I'll be starting to do my lives on Live Studio. And somebody from the deconstruction community is going to help me set that up on my new computer. And then hopefully I can get YouTube and start YouTubing as well, just like you do.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's great.
I'm really fucking excited about this.
Yeah, that's exciting. So that sounds great.
And then can you explain to me the bingo thing? Because apparently I have been absent, my friend.
Yes. I see you have a card. I think you have a card. So essentially, so if you look at your card and you take a look at your card and any of the phrases that are on there, I'll call it out. But any phrases that are on there will be you can mark your card. And so if you get 5, if you get 5 across diagonal, horizontal, vertical, diagonal, if you get 5 across, then you win. First one to do that wins. And we're giving away a early kick pole coupon. Good forever.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I set up a card and then I can't find the son of a bitch. So I guess I have to go back into the website to go find my card.
See it. I can, let's see. I can actually, I might be able to share it with you.
Cool.
Yeah. So you can go back in and see it. And on top of that, let's see, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was gonna like Ember won the other day. Oh hey, by the way, hi Ember. Ember won the other day, yesterday, and they opted to donate their kickpole coupon, which is totally an option. Anyone's welcome to do that. You can do whatever you want with it. So you can hang on to it or donate it or whatever you want to do. And if you accumulate 2, you can trade it in for a jellyfish.
What?
Or an immediate kick.
That's sick.
See? It's pretty fun.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, pretty fun.
All right.
So that's what we're doing.
For this.
Okay,
cool.
see, you're all motivated now. And you know what?
Fucking motivated. Goddamn right.
Yeah, there you go. And you know what? If you can't find your dang card, if something goes awry, just fucking start another one. Who cares?
Okay,
it's all for fun.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah, why the fuck not? Just start another one. It's all for fun.
Today,
There you go.
Fuck it all today.
Yep. Fuck it all. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So yeah,
gosh.
I'll let's see if I can get that over to you somehow. I don't want to send it like in public in the chat or anything. So I'll see if I can DM it. I think I can. And then you'll have it and then you can play.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Cool. Gives me something to do because then I'm not crashing out in my own shit.
I hear that. Let's see. I'm not sure which. Oh, hey, there you are. Okay, I can find you on my computer, so I might be able to DM it to you right here. Let's see if I can DM it. Message. Yes. Oh, how serendipitous. How about that? Okay.
Love that.
There, I just sent you a link to your card.
Bingo. I mean, not bingo, but...
Not yet. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Dad.
You got it.
Awesome.
So good to see you here. And Christina the Godless is here. So
yeah. By the way,
you missed the plug.
Last night you guys were funny as fuck. Like,
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was awesome. That made my night. So
yeah, that was pretty fun. Yeah, I'm still a little light in the wallet from having to pay Joel so I could be his friend, but it'll work out. Yeah.
Poor Joel.
Hey, poor Joel. He's getting my money. I'm just trying to be his friend. Yeah, he just keeps saying, soon, buddy, soon. Just keep the money coming. He said, I'll let you know. So hopefully he'll let me know one of these days. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's taking advantage of my low self-esteem. I don't know, but my need to be accepted. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. All right.
You had to pay a white dude for his time, Pax.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
He is so funny.
It's like a Joel subscription service.
Wait a second, no.
Yeah, like what? No.
Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry I missed it, but happy Transvisibility Day yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys deserve every bit of it. Go out and do something for yourselves.
Absolutely.
My beautiful people. Yep. My beautiful people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I considered doing something for April Fools, but I don't know.
Oh, I did.
I was kicking some stuff around. Yeah.
Yeah, my last video that I just posted, I went on pretending, oh, I found Jesus. I found April Fool's, motherfucker. You think I'm going to become a Christian again? Psych.
Yeah, I thought about it.
I'm honestly good with no April Fools. There's just too much happening.
It's too much.
It
Yeah.
feels like April Fools every day. but it's not.
Yeah, that's so
It is this
fucking weird.
timeline. Yeah, that's true. It
Oh
is
my
this
God.
timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is this timeline for sure. I got you. Yeah, I
Especially
considered
with
it, but it
this-
sounded like it was going to be too cliche. So I decided, I won't do it. And I couldn't think of
especially with
anything better.
this fucked up administration, but you didn't hear that from me.
Shit, you heard it from me.
Heard
This
it from
administration.
me.
You heard it from me. This
Yeah.
administration's fucked up.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
it
I'll
is.
say it.
Oh,
I'll
that's
say
bright.
it.
Holy shit,
Holy
that's bright.
shit.
Let me turn that
Did
down.
you
a little
find
bit.
Jesus? That was a bright light.
I was just trying to turn on the little, that little ring light thing. Except I have a rectangular
Guys,
light,
the rapture is happening.
right?
It's a trust light.
Right?
Exactly, Christina. No prank is more ridiculous than this administration.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
the
God.
biggest prank of all time. Exactly. So. Exactly.
Except it's not.
Yeah, right. Except not. Well, how about we bring up a guest so we can get the bingo game started? Okay. So you guys know
do it.
you guys know what to do. All right. And again, if you haven't joined the bingo game, now's the time. There's still plenty of spots available. So I just posted the link in the chat, and it's pinned on the YouTube side.
And it's a new game, right?
Yeah, this is the new game from yesterday. The one after you won. So
Oh,
it's,
right, because we just did the giveaway or the
Right.
yeah, giveaway thing at the end.
Yeah, we did the
Okay,
giveaway at the
that's
end.
right.
Yeah. So, and I know we're friends and all, but I hope you don't fucking win again. Only because the giveaway was a little complicated because we couldn't we went
I
through.
will sit out. I will sit out this time.
Oh,
will
I
sit
didn't.
out
I didn't
this
mean
time.
that. You don't have to
No,
sit
no,
out.
no, it's okay. No,
Okay.
no, it's okay. It's okay. I will sit out
All
so
right.
that I don't win again. And yes, look,
Oh,
we'll
I
figure
mean-
out the giveaway. We should just do the giveaway immediately after I win, like
Okay.
really quickly, so that and maybe I don't know. Just we'll figure it out.
We'll
But
figure it out.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of people. It's unlikely that I'll win again.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of people playing, so it's pretty awesome. So, okay. So let's see, how many cards do we have? Holy shit, we have 62 cards. Holy shit, that's amazing. All right, 62 people playing. All right, let's get to our first guest. We got A10 who's waiting. A10. How's it going,
Hello.
A10?
Good.
Good. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
I'm he, him, and I'm 19. I mean 20.
Okay.
So.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, no.
All right, spring break is
The
on this
umbilical
week.
cord is still attached.
I was listening to CBJ earlier, and he got like 4 fetuses in a row. It was wild.
my
Yeah, they're
God.
wild today.
Yeah, and he was
I
like, "What the fuck
can't.
is going
Christ.
on?" Yeah, and he's like, "A school app or something?" And I'm like, "I see you don't have no kids in school because it is spring break."
Wait till summer vacation hits. It's gonna get wild.
Yeah. So you got to be at least 18. He went from 19 to 20 to 31. 810. Hey, man, props, but yeah, you got to be 18. So, Christ is Lord of Lords, knows everything about me. Oh, if only you knew. If only you knew. No life and no job. Okay, whatever you say. But that's what people say when you can't respond to what I'm saying. So that means you have no evidence for your belief, which makes you irrational. And I wouldn't trust you with my kids. So I guess we can just put it like that. All right. So if you're at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, request up so we can talk. And let's see what your evidence is that your God is real. So far, yeah. And Christ is Lord of Lords. You're not following the Bible either. 'Cause
He
you're in
never
here
does.
well, yeah, no, you're in here complaining and meditating. Actually, here, why don't you minister to us? People need to stop sitting in front of TikTok all day. Yeah, as you were in here in front of TikTok. So why don't you come up and minister to us? Do your job as a Christian. I've given you a personal invite. So don't be a keyboard warrior. Stand up, 10 toes, chest out, and give us evidence. You have 100 people here that you could convert today. You know that, right? Your God would be ecstatic with you. So what? You're not gonna claim your God? You're a lukewarm Christian? Your God's gonna spit you out. And he's gonna say, I never knew you. So it looks like you're not a real Christian. You're just
I've been doing videos about AB, and he's come in and hot and heavy and like, going off about, how it's their authority to tell a woman what to do with her body. And it's just like,
Yeah.
dude, like y'all be wild.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, actually you do, Christ Lord Dolores. You just got called out. Because people have seen you in other lives. So yeah, you do.
You also just started.
I know. I just started like 20 minutes ago, and he's like, I'm here all day. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Oh, Christina's being a great atheist, watching this live while getting an abortion.
That is, oh my goodness. That is amazing. I swear some people are just on it, watching the live.
Healthcare.
Yeah, exactly. Exercising bodily autonomy. That is amazing. I am like applause. That is fucking
we've already
amazing.
talked about our punch cards.
Right?
They give us punch cards, and it's free on the 10th one.
Yeah. Yeah. Evict 4, get the 5th one free, right? So
yeah, they even throw in a latte.
You're doing better than the Marines. That's all I got to say, because the Marines, they say, hey, you're a Marine because, it's good for you to be a Marine because you're filling heaven with fresh souls. Well, that's what I think Planned Parenthood is doing, and all who visit Planned Parenthood. You're filling heaven with fresh souls. You're saving people. I mean, you're doing more than these cosplaying Christians that are in my life, that are pretending to be Christians. They're LARPing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, we may be offending the religious folk at this point in time.
Oh. Well, if that's the thing, then you should be offended by your God, because your God likes abortion. Tell you that much.
Yeah, well, and Planned Parenthood actually provides health care and life-saving health care at that.
Exactly.
And preventative things. They provide a lot of services.
You know what? I know we already picked a charity for the patriarchy jar. The next one actually is going to go to Planned Parenthood.
Nice.
I love it.
I may even put Planned Parenthood jar right here. Because yeah. Oh, yep. We triggered some people. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless if it's not healthcare or what, don't give a fuck. Yeah, call it hair. I don't care. I'm not,
I almost lost my son, and that was wild. I mean, if it wasn't for Planned Parenthood, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, exactly. I have no dog in this fight, except that people have bodily autonomy. They have a right to bodily autonomy, and it's immoral to take it away. On top of that, your God loves abortion. You should be all pro-choice. Your God loves abortion. All over the Old Testament, God's aborting kids left and right.
What's funny? Well, it's not funny, but it's wild that they will allow rapists and P3DOs in heaven, but not a woman who does the AB.
Exactly.
Weird.
Yeah, well, and oh shoot, I just forgot my argument. I had it, and then my ADHD forgot it. I will mute and think of it.
I hate that shit when that happens.
You'll probably pick it up like an hour later, which is all good. You could just blurt it out. Just say it.
Yeah, right.
We'll know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah. We'll get it. And if we don't, remind us.
Be like, abortion.
Exactly. just blurt it out. It's all good. Hey, neurospicy minds, LGBTQIA, women, bodily autonomy. It's all welcome here. It is. So
Absolutely.
No
So
judgment.
yeah. No judgment.
Yes, it is like a red herring. This is what it is. It's a red herring for right-wing politicians to put out all of this propaganda about so-called like baby lives when they're not even babies, they're fetuses,
Yeah.
different stages of development,
Yeah.
so that the right-wing politicians can go and pass the laws they want to pass.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they have no idea what the risk is of carrying a child.
On up, nothing new. Yep. Come on up, nothing new. School me.
If they knew what our bodies went through, they would be like maybe have a difference of opinion, but they don't
Yeah.
because they're men
Yeah.
and they think that they need to stick there somewhere and yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Hey, I get it. Nothing new. I get it. Nothing new. You don't have the boots for this hike. So just stay down in the comments and complain and hide in my comments on my videos because I think that's really all you're built for. So that's all good. But I'm here when you're ready to grow up. All right. But honestly, I don't think your ego could handle it. So I think your ego is a little bit too fragile. All right, let's bring up our first guest. Go with Keezy. How's it going, Keezy?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, not much. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
He, him, 28.
All right, fantastic. And are you a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
The Bible.
All right, what's your best evidence that God is real?
I'd like to go with the moral argument, I guess.
Okay. And what's your version of the moral argument? I hear different versions of it from every
there's
person.
a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that there are objective morals and values, or if you don't have God, then you can't have objective morals and values. There are objective morals and values, therefore you have God.
Okay. So without God, you can't have objective morals and values. So how come I have objective morals and values?
You're asking how come you have objective morals and
Yeah,
values?
I don't believe in a God, but I have objective morals and values. So how's that so? How's that possible?
So I would just reject the question because I don't think you, like you're saying, how come I do? But I don't think you do if you don't have God.
You don't think I do? How do you know I don't? Like how you just met me, like you've been up here like 30 seconds. How would you possibly know that I don't have objective morals? I'm an objective moral realist. Yeah. How would you possibly know that?
So, because I don't think you can have objective morality without an objective third-party observer. So,
An objective third-party observer?
But it's yes.
How is God objective?
Like an omniscient being.
Mm-hmm. How? Well, what's the definition of objective here? Because I think we might be talking past each other.
Yeah, that's fair. So when I mean objective morality, I mean it exists outside of human subjectivity.
Uh-oh. I think we lost him. We lose him?
You can't hear me?
Yeah, there you are. Okay, you're back.
Here.
Oh, okay. It just like, I don't know. You went mute for a second. I don't know what happened. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No worries. No worries.
So did you hear what I said?
No, I heard because I asked for the definition of objective and then you were starting to talk and then it cut out. So I didn't hear anything you said.
Got you. So I would say just free like free of human subjectivity. So like outside of humans' existence, it exists. So like there is by objective, there is a good that exists outside of human perspective.
Okay, so it's outside of human perspective. Okay. And so the dictionary defines objective as mind independent. So God has a mind. So how can it be objective? God has a mind.
How can it be objective if God has a mind?
Yeah, and the definition of objective is mind independent.
I guess
So
I don't really follow what mind independent means on the definition you're
it
saying.
means it's universally true. Like for example, 1 + 1 = 2 is objectively true, right? It's mind independent. So 1 + 1 = 2 will always be true. So even if the dumbest kid in class says 1 + 1 = 3 and is the biggest kid in the class and bullies everybody into agreeing with them, it's still not true, right? So
Okay.
that's what it means to be
So
when it's mind independent. Yeah. So if it's
But you still have to have
if
a
it's
mind to understand that it's 1 + 1 = 2, right? I mean,
well,
I
yeah,
just-
you
it's
still
just
have to.
going that
Yeah, you have to.
example. I'm
Well, yeah, but
really
that's
fighting
that's
against
under.
myself here, but
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
but that's
I don't really get
understanding.
this
Yeah, that's
example.
different than it being true. Yeah, that's understanding it to be true.
Okay,
Yeah, you're
so-
right. I agree with
So
you. You
I'm
do
saying
need a mind to understand
when,
it's true.
when I'm
but-
saying, so my definition of objective, I believe that morality exists in the same way that mathematics exists, and that there are truths that exist independent of, I guess, a human mind specifically. And then okay, so I get your question with, if God has a mind, then how is that
objective.
objective?
Yeah. And I can demonstrate.
I'm not fully understanding.
Oh well, I can demonstrate
Well, I said
because
I said by human
human
mind,
standards.
so-
Okay. Well, see,
Right,
when it says mind independent, it means any
So
mind,
God's
human or whatever. It
God's
doesn't matter
mind-
what mind. It's just any mind.
So the dictionary definition's assuming God's mind,
It's any
in
mind,
which case isn't it? just
which includes
including
God's,
mind?
right? Which includes God's mind. It's any mind. It's just mind independent. All mind, independent of all
Okay.
minds.
Well, the difference for me between what God's mind is and our mind is that God's mind, by my belief in God, is that God is omniscient, so He's all knowing. So God's mind is a little bit different than my mind. So
Okay.
if God has an absolute perspective of good and evil, then
Mm-hmm.
God can then be the judge of that good and evil. Where if you
Okay.
don't have that absolute perspective of good and evil, then you can't have an objective morality that exists.
I got you. Okay.
Otherwise,
so
you just have subjective. I mean, you've definitely. I'm not bringing up anything new to you, so you kind of get what I'm.
yeah, I know.
getting at.
I know what you're getting at. Yeah, but I want to. Yeah, but I'm kind of flushing out where you stand, and I think I understand where
Okay,
you're at.
fair enough.
Okay, so
Yeah, fair enough.
in that case, are there types of morals in which God always thinks it's either right or wrong? So, and God has eternally known that they're right or wrong?
No, that's a great question. So, I'm not fully certain of where I stand on this, because I think murder is wrong, right? But there are certain instances where it's okay, or like I guess killing is a better word. It's killing in general is wrong. Killing another human being is wrong.
Yeah.
But there are certain circumstances, for example, self-defense, right, where it could be morally permissible, just by like my intuitional sense, right? So I do feel that there is an objective right and wrong, though it can vary situationally, and so therefore you need that objective omniscient mind to know whether or not something's actually good or bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear you.
You have a problem
Now,
with that?
I would say, well, then in that sense, I would say killing isn't objectively right or wrong, right? It depends on the situation. It's subjective. So, it just, like you said, it just depends on the situation, right? So say killing somebody for a parking spot, that's wrong, right? But killing someone who breaks into their house and is
objectively wrong.
I would say
So
yes,
in
it
that
is.
in that situation,
I would say
it
yes.
is objectively wrong, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I agree.
I say it's objectively wrong. I would say killing someone who breaks into your house and is threatening to kill your family, that is objectively right. In fact, I would even assert that you ought to kill them.
You have a duty.
ought-
Yeah, I agree.
you are morally obligated to do that because they are threatening the freedom and well-being of you and your family. So I would say you ought to do it. And if you stand by and watch them, then you are just as morally culpable as they are. So it would be something like that, and I would excuse something like fear, like if you're frozen in fear, or you're in shock, that's different. However, if you could do something, but you don't, and you watch them, unalive your entire family, because say you didn't want to get mixed in it or something like that, you know, it wasn't out of fear or shock or anything like that, then yeah, I would say that's objectively immoral to not stop it. So in that sense, then, Keezy, what about something, because I think we've kind of settled that. What about in situations where a person, in the situation where a person who doesn't commit a crime or a sin is punished in place of somebody who does, would you call that objectively moral or objectively immoral?
If somebody is like innocent and punished,
in place of somebody who did commit the crime or the sin, would you say that's objectively immoral or objectively moral?
I do want to answer that, but before I'm not sure we fully moved on from the previous point, because we agree that that situation is objectively right or wrong, right? But I don't really get where you're grounding your beliefs that it's objectively moral. Like, if you don't have the omniscient third party observer of what is good, right, and wrong, how can you say that that situation that you deemed is objectively wrong? Like, I mean, I understand that you and I both agree that it's wrong, right? So it could be subjectively wrong. But if you don't believe that there's an objective third party observer of actually what is right and wrong, then how are you grounding that belief in objectivity?
Well, that's just it. I mean, because having an objective third party, in ultimately that's incoherent, because if it's mind independent and you have an objective third party with a mind, then it's not objective. So it's a contradiction of the term objective.
Like it's a little bit circular, because I'm saying objective in the third party. I guess omniscient is a better word than omniscient.
Yeah,
so
and
omniscient meaning you have the actual knowledge. The omniscient being has the knowledge of what is objectively right and wrong.
And to me,
so
that's,
if you don't have that, then all we have is just what we have.
Yeah, and to me, omniscience is irrelevant. But I'm not sure why you need to know my grounding.
I feel like that's important.
You feel it's important to know my grounding? Because
no, I'm saying I feel like the omniscience point is important. So you said it's irrelevant. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's not relevant because again, it's because just because a being would know everything, that does not make it objective. It just, because it's still not mind independent. That's not the criteria of making it objective, is knowing everything.
Yeah, but again, I thought we were trying to move, like, I wasn't really comfortable with that definition that you pulled up. I wanted to say,
I mean, it's the definition. I mean,
objective.
Is the dictionary wrong?
Because I don't. Well, yeah. I mean, if the dictionary is equating my mind with God's mind, then yeah. But if the dictionary is saying mind independent, meaning human mind, then I would agree with the dictionary definition.
Okay.
So,
well, I still don't see the significance of it. Why does it have to be a human mind, and then beyond that, why do you stop at human mind?
Because human mind doesn't have omniscience, so you have a very limited perspective of what's right and wrong.
Well, I'm still trying to understand what omniscience has to do with objectivity. How is that relevant?
Because if you have omniscience, so if you know everything, then you know actually in the circumstance. So even in those individual situations, what is going to produce the quote unquote right or moral outcome, or be
right
the
or moral outcome,
right or moral thing.
Okay.
Also the right or moral action thing. That one and the same for me for the most part. So but see, that's not a criteria for objectivity then. I mean, maybe that's your definition, but that's not the definition. So if we're gonna redefine things, okay, fine, but I mean, words actually mean words, you know what I mean? So I go by the dictionary definition, and so I would still equating
I would reject your definition of objectivity. No, I'm not.
Okay, fair enough.
There's nothing in there that equates. It just says mind independent, all minds. So I'm not seeing how we're equating minds here. It's independent of all minds. Like I said,
you're also
is there? Well, let me ask it this way:
as you having a mind in the way you understand a mind to be.
Well, let me ask it this way:
what I mean by that? Because that doesn't.
Would God ever say?
Genuinely don't understand that.
Well, is there a situation then where God would say 1 + 1 = 3?
No,
Okay. So
there's not.
that's objectively true, right?
Yep.
Independently of God's mind.
I'm not actually certain about that last.
Well, then that mean that then that means God could say
God's mind.
then that means God could say 1 + 1 = 3,
But
and that doesn't make any sense.
I'm not certain of that jump, but I'm just willing to like grant that point because I don't have a reason to disagree with that.
Okay, because I mean that's where that's where I'm at it as far as objectivity is concerned. And since you mentioned it, because it's going to take me a while to explain this. We only have 15 minutes left, but because I really want to trap you, but I'll just say it. So my grounding is the laws of logic, because the laws of logic are objectively true. The law of identity, law of non-contradiction, and the law of excluded middle. And then the pillars of behind objective moral realism is freedom and well-being. By default, humans are entitled to freedom and well-being for simply existing. And that being the case, anything that infringes upon freedom and well-being is an immoral act. And the reason why it's an immoral act is because the person who is committing the act, if they are infringing upon somebody's freedom and well-being while at the same time asserting their own freedom and well-being, then they're committing a contradiction. It violates the law of non-contradiction. Therefore, it's immoral. So, for example, take stealing. If somebody steals from another person, they are asserting their freedom and well-being, while at the same time they are taking away the other person's freedom and well-being. And so that's a contradiction. So therefore, stealing is wrong, objectively.
I don't see how it's a contradiction. Like if I'm stealing from you and I'm benefiting from it, I'm not contradicting the fact that I am going to benefit from it.
Because you are asserting your freedom and well-being by benefiting from it, while at the same time you're taking away my freedom and well-being from benefiting what I own. You're taking away what I own, and I can't benefit it from it anymore, which means you're taking my freedom and well-being to enjoy that thing. So that's a contradiction.
Well, I don't really see how you can say that is. I mean, I agree that that's wrong. I don't think you should steal. I don't get how you can say that you can't have you don't have the right to do something that's going to benefit you at the detriment
expense of others. You don't see how that's wrong?
And once again, just no.
You don't see how that's a contradiction?
I want to reiterate. Yeah, I want to reiterate that I do think it is wrong, but I don't see how you're contradicting. You're like living out a contradiction, because your freedom and the freedom that you're experiencing is different from. It's separate from the other person's.
How so?
If we're.
Well, yeah. In that, in one sense, yes.
Go back to if you go to the trolley problem, for example, like 99% of people will say they'll pull the lever to save 3 lives over 1. But the second that your family is on the tracks, right, you're obviously going to do what you have to do to save your family, even if it contradicts your previous response. But that's different because it now involves some people close to you. And you even agreed before that you think people have a duty right to their family. So you're valuing that duty. So in this case, I could say my value to myself is stronger than my value to myself is stronger than my responsibility to you. So if I steal from you, then I'm validating my value of myself. That makes sense. I feel like
no, it doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So
let me know where you have the problem. Where do you not agree with that?
I think it's
quite a few things there.
Yeah, I think it's just a fundamental misunderstanding of what I'm saying. So so in the example of someone breaking into your home and you protecting your family, I just said family, but it could be any life that's in there. So if it's, let's just say, it's a person who, that you just invited in off the street and you invited them to stay the night, to give them a warm place to sleep. And then somebody breaks in and is threatening to kill that person. And if you happen to know that, and it's not, that person didn't break in because of self-defense, which the likelihood is they didn't, you know, so if they're breaking in to kill that person, you ought do what you need to do to protect that person's life if you can. Now, if you have the ability. Now, some people don't have the ability, so you know they may have to just stand there and watch or something like that. Like if you're a paraplegic, then of course, yeah, you can't really do anything. But you should at least try to call the police or do something to try to save that person's life. But standing there doing nothing and watching it occur would be objectively immoral. So it doesn't matter if it's family, it's just another human life. So in that sense, and the reason why is because you not doing what you can to save that person's life is infringing on their freedom and well-being. And so it is objectively immoral if you have the ability to try and to do something to save their life. Now that may be, you may not have like the physical prowess to overcome the attacker. You know, you may not have that ability. And so if that's the case, and let's just say you can run outside and scream, you know, and go knock on a neighbor's door, or you can pick up the phone and call the police or something like that. But to just stand there and do nothing is objectively immoral. It's doing whatever you can within your means. So here's an example, and it's a bit of a switch, but it'll kind of illustrate of what I'm trying to say. So if you saw if you were walking by a knee-deep pond in a park, Keezy, and you saw a toddler drowning in the park, and you have the ability to save the toddler, and the only cost to you would be, you know, wet shoes and maybe wet pants to your knees. Would it be the right thing to do for you to save the child? Or, I'm sorry, would it be the right thing for you to do to stand by and watch the child drown? Or would it be the wrong thing to do?
It would be the wrong thing.
It would be the wrong thing to do? Okay. How about for God?
Like to watch the child drown? Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no cost to you to save the child, right? Like you're not risking your life.
Pretty rough enough.
Yeah. Looks like your internet's like going in and out. Are you driving, by the way? Because your internet's going in and out.
Yeah, I have.
You are driving?
Yeah, I'm putting our clears up like.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I have to drop you. Okay.
Wow. That whole
I didn't hear I heard the noises,
Oh.
but I thought maybe he was, I didn't hear the car, you
Yeah.
know? I didn't hear the engine. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard stuff going by.
yeah. And I
It
thought maybe,
probably
he
an
was just,
electric.
yeah,
Ugh,
but yeah,
those
that was
damn
frustrating.
electrics.
right? So, yeah, sorry, Keezy, I had to drop you because you can't drive in live. So, and I know I figured it out 22 minutes in. So it is what it is. But yeah, we were just getting into it. But I do love running the moral argument because it's just so easy. But I could have just pressed and just said, you know, how I ground things is irrelevant. You know, I probably could have just said that. He had subjective self-service. Easy, exactly.
He was just deeply getting into the weeds and not making sense.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Yeah. Hey, this is a good time for a announcement.
All right. Hi,
Yeah,
everyone.
I hear you,
Welcome
Joe.
to Welcome to Trust But
Dr. Joe.
Verifies Live. Appreciate you being here. We have 119 people in the TikTok and more in the YTube space. We have 42.8K likes. If we could get up to 50K really quickly, that would be great. And then we can keep going on. But I know that with 120 people in here, we should be able to get there pretty quickly. Thank you so much, Ragizi. I always think like R.A. Geezy, or I don't know if it's R.A. Geezy or Raw Geezy, but
I say raw. He's never
yeah,
corrected
right.
me.
Like I'm not sure. It's okay.
He's never
It's okay.
corrected me, so I just
Yeah, right. That's fair. But yes, let's see. Continue, tapping the screen. Make sure that you send your daily heart me's and you do what Livia just did. You repost the live, share it out to a few people. You don't need to spam share it, just like 5 people. Then that's good for the algorithm. We just want to make sure that we are able to talk to as many people as possible, and have good conversations. Because you guys don't want to hear us up here all the time. So
facts.
the more you share, the less you have to hear us talk all the time. Yes, and keep commenting and engaging in the live. Those are all great, like free ways to engage. There's other ways to engage by becoming, a member on whatever platform that you are watching him on, and you can also engage by if you want us to move on to a different guest, you can put in 25 or fill the live goal, which is up to 25 Let 'em Cooks, and that will trigger an early kick poll. So you can do that and then we'll all vote, or you can send a jellyfish or equivalent gift. And that one would actually take somebody just right off the panel immediately. So, and I'll be up here more often now, which means that I will just be able to quick, if Trust doesn't see it, be like, hey, Trust, we have a jellyfish. So
Thank you.
Yes, we are good. We're streamlining this.
We are.
We have a Discord. Go ahead and go to the link in Trust bio, copy and paste it into your browser, and then you should be able to join from there. We do have bingo, and you can access the link easily there. So it's a bingo for every live. We are doing one today. I don't know if there was really much
Wasn't
that
much there.
that he said, that could have been on the card, but we will get there. If y'all see anything in chat, what I can potentially do, I want to figure that out for the chat one so that we can make sure we see it, and then we're also not constantly interrupting the conversation.
Okay.
So like I might be able to make note of, people during the conversation, and maybe a break here and there. I'll say a couple things that people saw, or that I saw, and we might be able to do it that way, just so that we have some confirmation.
Yeah. So we want to move this along and get winners and shit. Yeah. We don't want to be sitting here waiting.
Exactly.
So chat, anything said in chat, it counts, but we got to call it out so I can see it, and then I'll call it officially.
Yeah. So just at me or one of the mods, and we'll figure that out, or we'll at least take note of it. And then after the conversation, we'll kind of go through it and be like, hey, this is what people saw in chat during that conversation. Let's see. Besides that, no spamming, no caps lock, no preaching in the chat, no praying for people without consent, and just don't be rude. Don't heckle. Don't be disingenuous. Just be chill, and we'll hang out, have a good time. We'll talk to people. And yeah, we really appreciate all of you being here. And again, no preaching. Christ is Lord of Lords. Like, don't preach.
Yeah.
I literally just said not to. But
proceeds to preach.
I know, like, Christians and consent.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah, so exactly, deconstructed. But anyways, I will stop talking. Thank y'all. Free will was just said in chat.
Free
Thank you,
will.
Christina.
Mark your cards for free will. And also, for those of you, you've got your free space is the center, God. So if you haven't marked God yet, do it now, just so you don't miss that. And because that's a free space. Because shit, we only say that word I don't know how many times in this live, so it's a perfect free space word. So just be sure to look at your card and go through and mark it if you don't see it, if you haven't yet. Okay. So, and looks like Christina the Godless is, oh goodness, Christina's one away. Is one away. So this is
She's
on.
perceptive. She's calling that shit out.
Yeah, she's very perceptive. Oh man, and she's got a good shot to win. Her last word. Oh, I'm not gonna say what it is, but it's a really good one. So it's a very common one. So she's got the inside track. Her horse has really pulled ahead. So we'll see, but we may get it on this next one.
Oh no. She said she doesn't have her old card. It gave her a new one.
Oh, I see it here. Here, I can send it to you. Because it says, yeah, I see it here. And so you don't have your old one? Oh, that's weird. Yeah, this bingo game, I mean, it's like the best of all of them, but it's still a little weird. It's still a little kooky. It acts kind of weird. Okay, so let's see if I can find you. I hope I can. Christina the Godless. Look at that. Okay. All right. So I just
Oh my goodness.
I just DM'd it to
Sorry.
you,
Thank you
Christina.
for 50K likes, everyone. Yeah, my announcements usually drop the viewership a little bit, but we'll get back up there real quickly
It's
because
okay.
y'all are engaging and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
People kind of go away if they've heard this before. I say it every day, so
Yeah.
they might go away for a few minutes and then come back.
It's no big
which
deal.
is totally chill.
Okay. And I think I've been accidentally cutting and pasting your card reckless. Sorry. So sorry about that. Because I had sent it to you and I forgot to renew it. So sorry about that.
Everybody gets
Yeah, suddenly
bingo.
everybody wins at bingo. Yeah. So all right. So all right, let's bring up the next guest. It is okay. So again, if you're in the guest queue, please be at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and then also please have evidence that God is real, not counting personal experience. All right, let's go with Carla. How's it going, Carla?
Hello.
Hi
I'm
there.
good. How are you? You know what?
Doing
I
well.
didn't hear your rules before. I'm not technically a believer in God in the Bible. I do believe in God, but not the one the Christians subject to.
Oh,
But
okay.
can I give my 2 points? They're really quick and they're pretty.
No, I want to talk to Abrahamic God believers, but I appreciate you coming up. All right, thanks.
No worries. Thanks.
All right. So yeah. So I got to remember to say that. So yeah. So if request up if you're at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, an Abrahamic God believer, and you have evidence that God is real. All right. Next is Slevin 2.0. And let's keep tapping. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
I am 37.
Okay. And
I'm
what are your
not.
pronouns?
I'm not too concerned about pronouns. You can call me what you want.
Fantastic. All right. Okay. All right. Which God do you believe in?
Abrahamic, Jesus Christ.
Okay. What's your best evidence that God is real?
Well, before we continue, I want to make an agreement with you, if that's possible.
Depends on what you want to agree on, but yeah, go ahead.
Would you be willing to agree that we do not resort to condescension and insults and stuff like that?
Yeah, I only match energy. So if you're cool, don't start none, won't be none. That's what I go by. So, yep,
Perfect. Perfect. So the point that I wanted to raise is that on your background, it says, what's your best evidence that God is real? The thing that I've noticed over the past, however many years, the people who really believe in God, the actual devout Christians, are not too phased in proving that God is real.
Yeah, I hear that.
Belief in God is a faith. It's not based on evidence.
Yeah. And so that's the problem, because that's why I hold it's an irrational belief. Because why would you believe in something you don't have evidence for?
Well, that's why it's called faith.
Yeah. And so then
And
that means
also,
that means every person who believes in a God, some type of God, they have faith. So that makes all of their beliefs true.
sorry, say again?
It means that every every person who believes in some sort of God has faith that their God is real. So then that makes that belief true.
No, not necessarily. It doesn't make the belief true. It just makes their viewpoint on the belief in their mind true.
Okay. Yeah. And so, well, I think that's the thing. I'm a non-resistant non-believer. I want to believe in things that have evidence. And if I have no evidence for something, I just won't believe it. There's no reason for me to believe it. So, that's what I'm here to do.
Okay. And in terms of evidence, would you say there's things on this earth that you don't have evidence, hard evidence for, that exists, but that actually do exist?
Hard evidence. Well, so you've kind of shifted a little bit. What does hard evidence mean? Versus, because I have evidence, but
Well,
you said hard evidence. So what's the difference?
let me try and put it the best way that I possibly can. I'm not the greatest with on the spot kind of thinking in these terms, but if I could think about it in the most primitive sense, what's a country you've never been to or never seen anything about?
Country I've never been to or never seen anything about? Kazakhstan. Or never seen anything about? Well, I've seen stuff about just about every country, I suppose. Seen something about every
Okay.
country. Yeah. So, but I
What
guess if
what
we
have you
just say
seen
one I've
about
never
things on
been to,
TV?
maybe we'll just
What,
go with
what you've
that, because
seen
there's
about a lot of things, what you've seen about a lot of things is mainly stuff that you've seen on TV, and we all know things on TV can be fabricated.
well, I don't watch TV,
So if
so
you say, for
that's not
example,
entirely true.
say again.
I don't watch TV, so that's not entirely true. I don't watch a lot of TV,
Okay, it's
like
just
very,
yeah,
very
it's
little
just
TV.
an example. So for example, not necessarily you, any person who believes in something based on evidence. Say now, for example, has never ever seen anything about the country of Fiji. We know that the country of Fiji exists.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be rational that that person doesn't believe that the country of Fiji exists?
It would be irrational.
There you go. So
Yeah.
just because you have personally never seen evidence for it doesn't mean that the evidence doesn't exist.
Right. So then there's evidence for God being real, right? And so what is that?
One of the most compelling pieces that I know of is the Shroud of Turin.
Okay. The one that was debunked in 1988, that Shroud of Turin?
Debunked is a strong word there.
Strong, meaning it's false.
No,
How
meaning
about the writing
it's
from the bishop admitting?
flaky.
How about the writing from the bishop in the Middle Ages admitting that it's a forgery?
So
Would that do it for you?
according to the carbon dating, the one that you said, I think in 1988,
Yeah.
the carbon dating,
And affirmed by 3
dated it back to
universities.
what,
Yeah.
1300s, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how did somebody in the 1300s create a forgery so convincing that it was able to circumvent every piece of testing that we have? And he did it 500 years before photography was even invented.
Let's look up the guy who replicated it fairly recently. It's an Italian guy. And chat, if anyone has the name, just throw it in chat and it'll help me search it up real fast. But yeah, there was a guy that that did it with middle 13th century technology, and he created an exact replica of the Shroud.
Uh,
And
Angry Anti-Theist said Dr. Luigi Garlashelli.
Garla Shelley. Oh, good luck spelling that fucking name.
Garlasschelli.
Eli. Okay. Garla Shelley. There it is an Italian organic chemist and researcher at the University of Pavia. And in 2009, he created a life-size replica of the Shroud using only materials and techniques available in the 14th century, such as an iron oxide pigment and bas-relief technique to support the hypothesis that the relic is a medieval forgery. His method involved placing a linen sheet over a volunteer, applying pigment, and then baking the cloth to age it, which created a faint, ghostly image similar to the original.
Yeah, except in that test, the one that he supposedly replicated, he would have had to impregnate the cloth with some kind of substance.
Yeah, that's what it says here.
Okay, but in
He
the
used an
test,
iron
there
oxide
was,
pigment.
no evidence of any substance.
Yeah.
Not on the real Shroud.
Okay, so what study do you have that says this?
I can't access it. Not on the fly.
Not on the fly. Okay. Now, I mean,
But
I think the only other thing you could probably lean on is the WaxS technology analysis that was done. It was much more recent. I want to say it was done in the 2020s. It's like within the last 5 years. However, the problem with that was the WaxS technology has not been verified by any other scientists, and it was specifically created to try to validate the Shroud of Turin. And and so there's some issues with bias, and nobody can get that. The researchers who were on that study, they cannot get that study peer reviewed because there's just issues with the technology. And the technology WaxS has been used in other applications and it's failed. So there's some serious issues and flaws with that study.
All right, but now here's it comes back to the initial question. How realistic and likely do you think it is that a person in the 13th century was able to create a forgery that would successfully dupe people 700
Well,
years
again,
later?
Garla Shelley reproduced it. He reproduced
he
it.
did
And
in 2009.
Yeah, in 2009. So he did it, and he only used materials and techniques available in the 14th century. I think you might have missed that part where I said.
He used techniques available back then, but he also used techniques that the knowledge of now would point to being indecipherable.
What exact techniques did he use that were only available to now? Wait, hold on. I gotta hear that claim. What exact techniques did he use that was only available in the 21st century?
No,
Which exact
only available?
You said that are available now, so I'm asking you which exact techniques did he use? Which exact ones?
No. What I
you
said
don't know.
is he knew they're available now.
I'm not sure how that's relevant. Not sure how that's relevant because, again,
you know what I'm saying.
Okay, I think I understand, but again, he used only the techniques and tools available in the 14th century. So I'm trying to understand from you, what exact things did he use that would, because I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to taint the study or taint the results by saying, well, this was in 2009. Well, I'm trying to get from you, what exactly did he do or use that tainted this?
I have no idea what he used, but that's not the point.
Okay. Well, that is the point because if you're saying that's what tainted it, I need to know what exactly he did to taint it.
I'm not saying he tainted it. I never said he tainted anything. I'm saying.
So then you agree it was a replica that he recreated it using 14th century technology then.
He created it, or supposedly, I don't know, I haven't seen it, but he supposedly created it using 14th century technology that is known about today. What I'm asking is, how likely do you think it is that somebody in the 14th century would know that 700 years later that method would not be decipherable? That's what I'm asking. What do you think the likelihood is that the guy who supposedly created the forgery in the 13th, 14th century knew that his method would not be able to be detected until 700 years later?
Well, he wouldn't have known, but I'm not sure how that's relevant.
Well,
how is that? Yeah, how's that even relevant to this?
Isn't it?
Like people don't do things
Time
thinking
speaks to
that
the
it's going
vacuum.
to be scrutinized like 700 years later. I mean, people just don't do that. So I'm not sure why that's relevant.
I disagree. People create forgeries with the exact intent of bypassing scrutiny. That's the whole point.
Well,
of
yeah,
creating
for the
forgery.
time period. Yeah, sure. And we don't know if this was because if I'm looking at, because we have other evidence that this was done, for like, because this was right around the time of the Crusades. And we also know historically that the Shroud of Turin was carried along during the Crusades when Christians were conducting their crusades. So there's some evidence that this relic was created to motivate the troops, to join or to crusades or to fight a little bit harder because they thought that a relic of God was with them. So that was commonly done back then. Yeah.
Is the evidence that it was created for that purpose or the evidence that it was used for that purpose? Because they're two different things.
We have evidence of something like that. Yeah. That it was used for that purpose. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that what I'm trying to explain to you is that we have everything that we have points to it being created in the 14th century. We've got the recreation by Dr. Luigi, what's his name again? Garla Shelley. We also have
it's probably very difficult.
It's Garla Shelley. Yeah. Just once I see it, I can pronounce it.
Let's just say Luigi. I know exactly what you're talking about. When you
Dr. Luigi. Yeah. We have,
let's say Dr. Luigi.
Yeah. Pierre Darcy, the Bishop of Troyes, who sent a letter to Pope Clement declaring that, this was a painting and that he knew the artist. It was a work of human skill. So, he described it as a clever sleight of hand. So why would the Bishop Darcy describe the shroud as a clever sleight of hand if this was actually placed on Jesus in the first century?
I can't really speak for his motivation or his motive to lie, but what I do know is that the shroud was tested and there was no pigments or dyes or any coloring found in it. As well as also what's interesting is that the image only appears on the very, very top layer of fibers. Any liquid that was used.
Right. Now, how do you
through into any other fibers?
How do you explain that that's not how that wasn't that didn't fall in line with the Jewish tradition in the first century of burial? That they didn't put a shroud over the body, they wrapped it in strips. So why would they put a shroud over Jesus when the Jewish custom was to wrap the body in strips?
No idea.
No idea. Okay, so we're just supposed to believe that they just went against Jewish tradition?
Let's
for
get
some
back
reason.
to the pigment thing because I feel like we're diverting.
No, it's not a diversion. It's the pigment. Okay, so just because they didn't find any pigment, that's not relevant. The cloth itself was tested and it dates back to the 14th century. So it doesn't matter if that there's pigment or no pigment on there. The cloth itself is only as old as it is. So it can't possibly be from the first century if it was dated to the 14th century. So again, this was debunked in 1988. And it's just wild to me that we're still talking about this. It's just crazy.
Again, though, it's not, I don't think you can say it was debunked because let's be honest. I mean,
I just did. It's been debunked. It's been debunked multiple times. I just gave you the evidence, and this is just.
Hang on, my guy. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish. With everything that the Shroud has been through, and everything that it's experienced, especially a fire in the 15th century or so.
Which the 1988 study accounted for. Yes.
It's very likely, as well as with the handling of the Shroud, it's very likely that any carbon-14 dating tests might have been skewed.
Okay, what's your evidence of that?
If you consider the fact that the shroud cloth itself was tested.
Slevin, what's your evidence of that? I need a study that demonstrates that the 88 study was skewed because of the fire. What evidence do you have of that? What study? Do you have a study? Do you have lab results? Anything? Because this sounds like just bad apologetics.
No, you're missing what I'm saying. And remember, we had an agreement.
Yeah, you said.
Not get condescending.
I'm not getting condescending. I'm stating my opinion.
Just let me finish for a second. I'm trying to get to a point. Okay. from what I've found is that the cloth itself was studied, and the fibers of the cloth itself were dated back to about 2,000 years ago,
Okay.
with presences of pollen that was dated back to not only 2,000 years ago, plus minus, but also dated back to the region in which Jesus would have been.
Okay. So again, produce the study that demonstrates this.
Again, like I said, I can't really get it on the fly. I'm not tech
All right.
savvy, so I'm using my phone.
Okay.
But
well,
what the point
yeah,
that I
you need to,
wanted make
well, then this is
initially-
just a claim. And I mean, I have no reason to believe it. You're just telling me things and you're just basically, it's at the point of trust me, bro. This is what I read. I don't care what you read.
You don't have to
I
trust
want to
me, you
hear
don't want to.
evidence. Well, I gave you evidence. I read you evidence.
Mhm.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so me, you know, do you have anything to back up your claims?
I have my own evidence, and the issue with that is that you don't recognize personal experience, so it's not really any point in me mentioning any of that.
Yeah, you're right, because then you'll have to demonstrate that your personal experience, which validates your God, you'll have to account for all of the other people with God beliefs who have had personal experiences with their gods that validate their God. So because then that means that every God, but again, that means every God is real. That's what you're telling me. You have validated every God out there. So that means Allah is real because people have had personal experiences with Allah. And that can't be true because it says that, hey, I'm talking. Hey, Slevin, I'm talking. So what that means, because if it says in the Quran, there is no God but Allah, that means that you have just invalidated your own belief in your own God. Because now you're just saying, well, then if they had a personal experience with Allah, then that must be true. Well, then you need to become a Muslim because you're worshiping the wrong God.
Okay, so Allah means God. The word Allah literally means God.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, the Muslim God, Allah, is Abrahamic. Islam and Christians both believe in the same Abrahamic God. The main difference between the two is that Christians believe in the Trinity, whereas the Muslims believe in a single God, a single deity. There's no divide between them.
Yep.
Those are the main differences. But now,
so if you so let me ask you a question. So if you if you consider Jesus Christ your personal savior, you believe in the Trinity, and it turns out to be the Muslim God, Allah, are you going to heaven or are you going to hell?
I'm not really in a position to make assumptions. I just work with what I've experienced.
I've read the Quran, and according to the Quran, you're going to hell because you don't believe in Allah.
Absolutely.
You don't follow anything. You don't follow the teachings of the Quran. You don't believe that Muhammad, peace be unto him, is the prophet. And, and you don't pray 5 times daily. You don't do this. You don't do that. You're going to hell. So I'm just saying.
I don't know. When it comes to Allah versus Christ, I really don't know with 100% certainty which one is the most likely to be real. What I do know is from my personal experiences and what my faith has gotten me in life. That's basically the main thing that I have. And along with that, I do have small little tidbits of evidence like the Shroud of Turin.
Okay. So, because we're off the Shroud of Turin, we're back on a personal experience. So then the next question is to a Hindu who has had personal experience in with their god Vishnu or Krishna or Brahma, then that means that Hinduism is true, that their lives have been enriched by their personal experience. So then that means that all of those, so then their gods are true, are real.
So then I suppose you can view it as Schrodinger's God.
I don't know what that means.
Schrodinger's cat?
Yeah, Schrodinger's cat. I don't know how that demonstrates.
You know the theory behind Schrodinger's cat?
Yeah. I know the mechanism behind it. He was trying to
until you open the box, you won't know which God is real and which isn't.
Yeah, not sort of, kind of, not really, but okay.
Well, do you have any evidence that God doesn't exist?
Do I have
Because
it?
then
Yeah.
it's Schrodinger's God.
Yeah, quantum mechanics, the exact same thing you just quoted. So quantum mechanics demonstrates that God doesn't exist. Because if you
How so?
believe in a God, well, specifically your God, any Abrahamic God with all the omnis, it contradicts what we know about this world because it doesn't line up with the laws of physics. So specifically,
Okay, explain how.
for one thing, and a God that is everywhere, that violates the law of excluded middle. So you can't be in multiple places at the same time. It's like saying it's both raining and not raining over your house at the same time. That violates the law of logic, violates the law of physics. So, occupying multiple spaces at the same time. The other thing is that if this God created everything, this goes against what quantum mechanics says, because you can calculate the superposition of a particle at any point in time and space, past, present, or future. So that means that time and space, it's implied, had to have existed already, always existed. And then that's further backed up by the quantum eternity theorem, where it states that time has always existed, time has always been. So if we have, and then if you bring in the theory of general relativity, where time and space are interwoven, that means time and space have always existed. We have the second law of thermodynamics, which says energy cannot be created nor destroyed, which then pretty much means that energy has always existed. So you've got time, space, energy, and gravity that have always existed, and that's the basic building blocks of the manifold of the universe, or the quantum wave function. So that doesn't make sense. What is God creating at this point? Makes no sense.
Okay, so quite a lot to unpack there.
You asked.
You mentioned in the beginning, you mentioned that a God can't be everywhere at the same time.
Nope. But it says that in the Bible, right?
Isn't that a little elementary when you're referring to a omnipresent cosmic deity?
Well, again, it violates the laws of physics as we know it. It violates reality. So can you demonstrate that this God can be everywhere at the same time?
No, but then again, that's not the point of the faith.
Well,
what I'm
saying,
yeah,
it is the point, because I'm asking for evidence that God is real. So that's the point of this discussion.
No. Yeah, I get that. What I'm trying to say, though, is that we're referring to God here. God does not fall within the parameters of physics.
Right. So that means that he doesn't exist. So that means he's not real. He doesn't exist. Because Superman doesn't fall within the parameters of the laws of physics. And we all know that Superman isn't real. Spider-Man doesn't fall within the parameters of the laws of physics. We all know that Spider-Man isn't real. So there's no reason to believe that God is real.
No, disagree again. There's lots of reasons to believe he's real, but you're missing my point. What I'm saying is that God is not limited by the laws of physics. God.
How do you know that, though? How do you know that?
Point of God.
But how do you know that?
Again, personal experience.
Personal experience. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my personal experience tells me God isn't real. So that means my personal experience is valid, right?
To you, at least.
To me. Well, we know. So what you're saying is you have your truth, I have mine. So there's no objective truth.
No, what I'm saying is you have your experience and I have mine.
Right. So how confident are you that God is real? Scale is 1 to 100. 100 being absolutely sure. No doubt.
150.
150%. But you have no evidence of it.
I have my personal evidence.
Yeah, personal evidence. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so personal evidence, and then other people have their personal evidence. And so who are we to believe?
You're to believe the ability to think outside the box in that sense. If I had none of my personal experiences, I would have probably been exactly like you. I would have been an atheist. I wouldn't have believed either. And believe me, it happens from time to time where I do think to myself. My intelligence comes to the forefront, and I think to myself, come on, is that really possible?
So here's something.
Then I do think to myself about my own personal experiences.
Okay. So here's something that's interesting. So what neurosciences has found is that a person with like a religious experience, it lights up the same areas of the brain as a person with schizophrenia having a delusion. So it acts exactly the same. So how would you give me a method in which you could help me determine, like if I look at a brain scan of yours and a brain scan of a person with schizophrenia undergoing a delusion, give me a method in which I could determine which of you had an actual true experience and not just a delusion.
Well, you wouldn't.
Okay.
For either of them.
So we can't, so you can't tell. So then there's no way to determine whether your experience is a true experience or a delusion. And you're 150% sure God is real.
Not 100%
that doesn't
certainty,
make,
no.
yeah, but that doesn't make any sense to me.
You see, the thing is, there's always going to be a variable of plausible deniability. So
Okay.
nothing is ever 100% in that regard. I'll never be able to 100% prove that God exists. But then again, I have no interest in proving that God exists. You'll never 100% be able to prove that the earth started without God.
Okay.
That's just
But I have way more evidence that the
reality
earth,
of it.
but see, here's the thing. I have way more evidence that the earth started without God than you do that God started the earth.
And
Like,
where
all
did
you
get that
have is,
evidence?
well, like I said, quantum mechanics. I just went over it with you. Quantum eternity theorem, quantum mechanics.
Did you do the experiments? Did you do the test?
No, I didn't. Why do I need to?
Then you're going on the word of the scientists who did.
Okay. So what reason would I have to not believe them? Because it's a body of it's a body of scientists. So you're saying all the scientists in physics, so all the physicists are liars?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
There's also
So
a
what
bunch of
evidence do you
physicists who
have
also
that they're
believe
not
in
telling
God.
the truth? What evidence do you have that they're not telling the truth?
I don't. There's nothing
Okay.
that
So
says
there's no
that
reason
bang and God couldn't
there's no
coincide.
reason not to believe them then. You have no evidence that they're not telling
There's
the
no
truth.
reason.
You have no evidence that they're lying. So why would I be skeptical of them? If they have all, because we have a body of scientists who have peer reviewed these studies and they came up with they followed the steps exactly the same. They came up with the exact same results. Why would you say that's not enough? Why would you say that?
You don't need to. That's the thing.
What do you mean you don't need to?
You don't need to have that 100% evidence when it comes to God. But
I never
also
asked for
keeping in
100%
mind,
evidence. I don't ever recalling saying I needed 100% evidence. Never said that.
okay,
I just said I have more evidence that no God created this world than you do that God created a world.
Yeah.
You have your faith.
you have more evidence as given to you by men who we all know can lie. So
So
can't
then
prove
give
that-
me, again, we're kind of going in circles here, Slevin. Give me the evidence that they lied.
I don't have any.
Okay, so then you have no way to tell me that they're liars. So then why would you not believe them?
Can you give me evidence that the writers of the Bible lied?
I didn't say that. So we're pivoting. I'm asking you, what is your evidence that they
That's the
lied?
thing.
And you said you
But
don't
we've
have
got a
any.
minute
So
left.
I'm asking you, then why would you not believe them?
We've got a minute left. I want to leave you with.
Okay, hold on. No.
thought
You got
with
to answer my question. Why would you not believe the physicists if you have no evidence that they lied? You have zero
I do
evidence
have
that they're not
evidence. It's personal evidence.
personal evidence. So it conflicts with it conflicts with your personal evidence. So you don't believe them.
Well, see,
Do you know
never
what?
said that I don't believe them.
Okay. So what do you believe
But
then?
that's the point that I'm trying to get at.
Are they telling the
And
truth?
What I'd like to do in this last few seconds.
Okay, I
is
ask you a question. I'm trying to get clarity. I'm trying to get clarity here. Do you believe them? Yes or no?
I believe parts of them. I believe.
Okay, and what evidence do you
they
have?
say is possible.
Okay, so what evidence do you have that they're of the parts that you don't believe?
Well, I never said I don't believe specific things. There's just certain things that, I haven't really landed on a definitive answer about.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is that why can God, the creator of the universe, and a massive swelling hot ball of energy not be the same thing?
Because we don't have any evidence of it. So there's no reason to believe that.
But you don't have any evidence against it. The Big Bang.
Why do you
could
need
have
evidence
been,
against something?
Let there be
So
light.
do you have evidence to not believe in Santa Claus? Like, do we have to prove that Santa Claus doesn't exist for us to not believe in Santa Claus?
Well, Santa Claus does exist, not as a,
I'm talking about the guy in the red,
supernatural
the fat guy
thing.
in the red suit who goes down chimneys and delivers presents on Christmas Eve all around the world. I'm talking about that Santa Claus. I know Saint Nick and all that. Yeah, that legend. But I'm talking specifically about the Santa Claus that we know of today. The guy in the red suit who goes down chimneys and delivers presents to everybody on Christmas Eve. Are you saying we
As a
need proof?
supernatural entity.
Are you saying we need proof that this guy doesn't exist to not believe it?
I'm saying that it would be wise to not definitively say that he doesn't exist, because
Okay.
when you haven't seen those kinds of things, and it doesn't make sense to draw a conclusion if you haven't.
I'm just saying I don't believe he's real. So you're saying you need
That's
proof to believe something's not real. You need proof.
No, I'm saying that you can't have proof for both sides.
Okay. All right, Slevin, I'm going to move on to another guest, but hey, appreciate you coming up. Have a good
Before
one.
you do, could I ask you a question?
No, I think we're done here. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Ugh. Sorry, that was getting a little exhausting.
That was exhausting. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. That was exhausting. That was too much. Well, just like when it presses up against, like when the cognitive dissonance kicks in, it was like seriously pushing back. So, but yeah, and then I could feel preaching coming, so I wasn't for it. All right. So, all right, we'll give Keezy's back. We'll give Keezy 8 more minutes. All right, Keezy, welcome back. Now, you can't drive in live, so are you not driving?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. I didn't hear, usually if I hear it, I'll say something, but it sounded like you were like pulled over to the side, so kind of gave you the benefit. But yeah, you had about 8 minutes left, so we'll just set the timer at 8. And then
Okay. I mean, I'm also happy to. I just wanted to basically come back and just say that I appreciate the conversation and apologize and everything. So.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, you have nothing to apologize for. It's all good.
Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, let's just finish with the 8 minutes, because I was getting into I had the scenario of the toddler drowning in the pond, the knee deep pond, and I asked you if God would save the child.
Yeah,
because you said you would. Yeah.
I'm more interested in going back to the. I know you keep wanting to go to this example, and I want to get there eventually, but I'm still want to focus on the objective morals part, because that to me is the argument. So it's like, I'm saying that,
and that's the question I had as part of the objective, because I'm doing an internal critique on your objective morals. So that's what I'm asking.
Can I respond to or ask a question about what you said earlier about the break-in example? And because you said it was a contradiction, right?
Well, we're kind of okay. Well, are you saying it's not a contradiction to stand by and watch somebody get killed?
It's not like a. It's not. Yeah, it's not like you're not without God. You're not engaged in a contradiction. I actually like the stealing example better, but when you're stealing from somebody. So I didn't, or at least I don't see how it is. So I'd like
if God, okay, so if God, okay, so let me ask you, if God tells you to steal from somebody, is that morally good or morally wrong?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So like basically, when I'm talking about God, it's the omniscient, all-loving being, right?
Yep.
So in your question, is God also omniscient, so all-knowing and all-loving?
That's not what I'm asking.
No, I'm saying the God in your hypothetical, is he omniscient and
it's your God.
all-loving?
It's your God. So if you believe that God is omniscient and all-loving and all-powerful, then yeah, it's whatever you believe that God to be.
Okay, so like for example, because you could even just say it like God in the Old Testament commands genocide, right?
Yeah. So if this God commands you to steal or commit genocide, is that a morally good command?
So from like a human perspective, absolutely not, right? But if we're going off the perspective of, you're saying objectively speaking, so independent of mine, that
I just
God
need a yes
is,
or no.
it's not as simple as yes or no, though. I'd love to give just a straight up yes or no, but
Well,
it's just not.
I think it is. I mean,
wanna
if God tells
verify-
you to do it, would you, okay, is it morally good or morally wrong?
So if the God you're speaking of is all knowing, all powerful,
It's your
and all
God.
benevolent,
You believe this God is all powerful, all knowing, all benevolent, right?
but you're granting like objectively he is all knowing, all powerful.
It's your
and
God.
benevolent.
If your God tells you to do this, is it morally good or morally wrong?
Okay, right. So that's the answer to the Euthyphro dilemma, right? It's a third part of that, because it's not, there's a third option, and the third option is that God is by nature good, and so he commands good, right? So
Okay, so if God said
if-
to you, I want you to round up all the babies in your town, all the orphan babies in your town, and I want you to put them on a stake and set them on fire, was that a morally good command?
No, I don't think that's a morally good command, of course, but
No,
I'm
I'm
not
asking
sure
if your
why.
God commanded it. Did God give you a morally good command?
Well, is God all powerful, all knowing, and
Okay, we're kind of going in circles here,
and
Keezy.
all
Honestly,
benevolent?
I have already granted it's your God. It's your God. Okay?
So,
do you believe your
but-
God is all powerful, all knowing, all benevolent?
Yes.
Okay, so if your God says to round up all the orphan babies in your town, tie them all to a stake and burn them, was that a morally good command?
The problem is like, I'm saying God is the standard of goodness. I know, I understand, because it's kind of
This is
it's a really
frustrating.
unfair question, because like I could do
It's not
the
an
same
unfair
thing.
question. It's either because you just said he's the standard of good, which means that the command is good.
But I could do the same reversal to, okay, then how do you say that rounding up all the babies is wrong without God?
It's
So
your
like, you
command.
have the
It's
same-
an
you have the
internal
same
critique.
issue.
It's an internal critique. I'm just simply asking you. And so, I'm getting the feeling, Keezy, that you're really uncomfortable with it because it makes you
It's a
admit that
very
it is a
uncomfortable
good,
question.
and it makes you admit that it's a good command because you just kind of painted yourself into a corner and you don't want to admit it.
Well, no, I actually agree with you that is the corner. It's like you basically are in a spot where you have to say that. You
Right.
have to say, yeah, but it's like the reason it's unfair is because you're saying a hypothetical that is like very, very unlikely and super, super, super emotionally like dramatic, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm uncomfortable.
Well, did the events in the Old Testament actually happen? Were those true?
I wouldn't know that.
You wouldn't know?
I know the Bible is a library, so I'm not like a biblical scholar or anything. So
You're not a biblical
I don't
scholar?
know if,
So are you saying then that the genocides did the genocides happen or not? Because God commanded all of those genocides. So did they happen or not? Did they actually happen?
yeah, I just said I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Did the events with King David happen? Did any of those happen?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Like, I'm not a biblical scholar. I don't know if any single event without a shadow of doubt happened in the
Okay.
Bible. Like
Okay.
the resurrection of Christ, I believe that it happened. I choose to believe that. I think there's some evidence or some good evidence that it happened, and I believe that as a Christian. But I can't say without a shadow of doubt that I know that happened. The same way I can't say about any other event in the Bible.
Okay. What happened in your mind? What was more likely to have happened? The resurrection of Jesus or the genocide of the Amalekites in the Old Testament? What do you think is more likely?
The resurrection of Jesus.
The resurrection of Jesus. Why is that?
Just because I have a more knowledge of that specific event and the evidence surrounding the.
It's based
the
on your
other-
personal knowledge. Okay, I
Yeah, of
understand.
course.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, I see. Okay. All right. So if you believe the things that happened in the Old Testament actually happened, then it shouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that your God would command something like this, because God killed millions of babies in the Old Testament. So it shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, the actual scenario is unlikely to happen. However, we've heard and read people who have said, I heard the voice of God and they told me to kill this person. It's happened many, many times. And so what would make you dismiss what they said that they heard and did?
Personally, I don't know how I would dismiss it. It's like if you say you have a headache, I can't know without a doubt that you do.
Okay.
I can't be like, no, you don't have, you know what I mean? So, I mean, like it's possible that they did experience that and that it was, it was
Okay.
God or it was a demon or whatever it was.
Gotcha.
I just don't know either
Okay.
way.
Okay. So now if you heard the
my
voice
moral-
of God, tell you to round up all the babies in your town, tie them to a stake and burn them, would you
That's
follow
a better
that
question.
command?
And no. And of course
You
not.
would
So
you would
that-
not. Okay.
That's a better example. Cause like, would I actually do versus like granting the perfect being that I'm literally equating with the moral standards, saying something, which is just uncomfortable because it does, like you said, it forces you into a corner. But would I do it? No, of course, because with my human understanding, I can say that, oh no, I'm not comfortable doing that. And I would assume like I'm being told the wrong command. I'm going crazy or whatever,
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. We're happy to hear that because not every Christian would say that. I've had Christians that would say, yeah, I would have to follow that command. So I'm happy to hear that, that you would ignore that command. But still, it's still,
I know, and it's still
yeah.
uncomfortable because in the stories, it is like that is the case, like that's happening. But the difference is that in the story, it is actually God. Like when it's the case of like me hearing the voice of God, I could just be drunk or something. Like I could be crazy, and then but in the confines of the stories, it seems to be the case that the all-knowing and all-loving being is saying to do something, and therefore that is what makes it the moral standard.
Right. Okay. So I think at the end of the day, because I agree with you, well, I can stand on my 10 toes and say without a doubt, a God that would command someone to, unalive babies, that is an immoral command. I can say it 100% of the time. I don't care what God's reasons are. It's immoral. Unless you can tell me a reason that it would be moral to do.
Well, so I find that just a little bit interesting because I think I heard you talking about abortion earlier, and you were valuing bodily autonomy.
Yep.
Over
because they're not babies. Yeah. It's not a baby. It's a fetus.
Okay.
It's not
so
it's not viable until about anywhere from 20 to 23 weeks. And
but so God was
over
99%,
and over 99% of abortions happen before 20 weeks. There's extremely rare cases in which the life of the mother is at stake that they will do something like that, and it's even less than 1% of those cases. Yes. But conversely, Christians should be okay with abortion because God commands abortions in the Old Testament. It's in Numbers. So there's no reason for Christians not to support abortions. To me, it's theater.
So again, that I don't really want to go into that again, but just because it's like a semantic thing where it's God in that instance is commanding it.
Yeah. So if God commands it, it's good, right?
So if God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-benevolent, then by definition, the commandment would be good, right?
That's good.
But
you see how horrible that sounds? God commands the killing of a baby. Since God is all-powerful, all-loving, all-knowing, it's good. Hold on, everybody. You see how like that feeling you have inside of you, that discomfort?
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable. Yeah.
But you have to say it. If God commands killing a baby, it's good. Just say it.
Right. And I believe that, I'm not saying right to that. I'm saying I get the point. But you can also say equally, if you don't have God and you're an atheist, then you can't say any of those things are wrong either.
Yeah,
so
I can say that. No, you can't.
You can say
you definitely
you can say
you,
subjectively it's wrong. Like, so
no.
to answer your
I say
question,
no. I objectively, yeah, no, it's not. Because again, I drew a clear line, you know, medically speaking, scientifically speaking, you know, up to 20 weeks, up to 20, just say 20 weeks, it's a fetus. It's not a baby. You're not taking a life. So
right, that's where you and I disagree.
well,
And
I mean,
had an instance where my son almost died in my belly. So to sit there and be a man and tell women that, you know, it's not okay, like we don't have a choice. We have a choice. And when our lives are at stake, we have to make really fucking difficult decisions. And those aren't easy decisions. And so as a woman, you don't get to put your business where our uterus is.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that happened to you also.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
sure.
hey,
I'm not sure
Keezy.
the whole story.
Yeah. Well, hey,
But-
Keezy, we're going to move on because they voted to move on to the next guest, but I appreciate you coming
Fair
up.
enough. I
All right.
appreciate the conversation.
Have a good one.
Have a
Yeah.
good-
Have a
You
good
too.
one.
That's
right.
hard for so many women because
Oh,
you know
absolutely.
they have to make those difficult decisions, and it's
That's-
not easy. But
That's why I got no dog in the fight.
these
Except
men think
to
that,
support
you know,
the decision, except to support
Yeah.
the decision, because that's
And it's-
between you and your care provider. You guys
Right.
make the decision. It's not up to me, except to say, okay, you need to do what you need to do. And because I am in favor of the decision.
right. And it's like scary as fuck, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when you're told that, you know, you don't know who's
Yeah.
gonna make it.
You know what I read a news article, Reckless.
Yes.
And everybody, I read a news article earlier today that there was a, I saw a video on TikTok. They had an emergency court hearing. There was a woman who was in labor. They walked into the hospital room and they handed her a tablet and they said, you have an emergency hearing. Somebody filed an injunction to force her to have a C-section. She wanted a vaginal birth. And they filed an injunction to force her to have a C-section because she was in labor, like protracted labor. And she didn't want the C-section because she had 3 previous C-sections from 3 previous births. And the last one or two, it's either 1 or 2, but she had severe hemorrhaging and she almost
Oh my
died.
God.
And they were forcing her to do they were trying to force her to do another C-section. And so they went to an emergency hearing, which is wild to me. This happened in Florida. The
Holy
judge ruled that she could
Florida,
have a
of course.
vaginal birth. Yeah, the judge ruled she could have a vaginal birth unless there was a life at stake. And it ended up being that way. But the point is, the fact that somebody tried to take that away from her was absolutely, I'm sorry, Kieran, I'm so sorry, but that's just bananas to me. It's absolutely bananas that we have gotten to this point where a fucking judge is deciding what a woman can do with her, you know, to help a woman make medical decisions. I mean, this would never happen with a man. Never.
No. They could
Never.
postpone it and make it another day. I mean, holy
I don't
fuck.
know, but it's just wild to me. Just absolutely
Oh.
wild. So that's just, yeah.
And they
It's-
wonder why we get so angry. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, we have the right to be fucking pissed. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
even though I'm a woman, I have no right to tell another woman what to do with her body because everybody has a personal choice. It's a medical
Personal choice.
choice.
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's between them and, like you said, between them and a doctor. That's
Exactly.
just like LGBTQ issues. Nobody's fucking business.
Exactly.
Somebody wants to transition, let them transition. It's not my
Exactly.
fucking business. It's between them and their care provider. If they have the safe situation to say, yes, we can
Exactly.
do this, fucking let it happen.
Exactly. Hi, Miss Aaliyah. How are you?
Hey, Uncle Trust. I heard some of my favorite topics being discussed, and so I just had to come party. So the woman in Florida, she had 3 previous C-sections. It was in the most recent one where she had experienced a hemorrhage.
Most
She was
recent.
just
Thank
asking.
you.
Yeah, it was the most recent one. She was asking for what we call a TOLAC. It's a trial of labor after cesarean. And so the provider was not willing to even like attempt a vaginal delivery. And so then that's when they filed the injunction to have an emergency court hearing. So
Okay.
what is interesting about this is that, yeah, we say like, oh, Florida, like, of course it happened in Florida. It has actually happened here in California as well.
Really?
I have, yes. So I have a doula friend that I used to work with, and she was there for one of her clients' births, and they did the same thing to her client. That they filed an emergency injunction in order to have a C-section. And they did general anesthesia on her and did a C-section and trauma, right? Like absolutely traumatized. And one thing that the woman in Florida was bringing up, what I saw, and this is the whole reason why I'm in women's health, but Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to unalive from birth and pregnancy than our
Yes.
white counterparts.
And this woman in
And so-
Florida is black.
Wow.
Yeah.
this
The woman in
and she
Florida
was,
is
I
black.
was
did
a
not
Black
know
woman.
that.
Yes, and what she was asking for was she was asking for a Black OB. Like she was saying like, okay, like I'm willing to like have a C-section, but the rates of me, the chances of me surviving through this greatly increase if I have a Black provider. And there's evidence that supports that when we have providers
Wow.
that are, first of all, having a female provider, for a female surgeon provides better outcomes for the patient. And then having a Black provider.
That's
when
across
you
the
are a
board,
Black
by the
person,
way,
that's
for
across the board. That's for
all
everybody.
genders. Yes,
That's
for everybody.
For everybody. It's
across
not just
the board.
it's not just a female. Yeah, it's not just a female surgeon providing surgery on another female.
Mhm.
It's just a female surgeon in general.
Just a female
is gonna have
surgeon in
better
general.
outcomes.
General.
Yes.
Did I say in general?
Well,
Oops.
and in general too. But
Yeah.
but yeah. So like the fact that people are saying like, why do you care so much about talking about religion and Christianity? Well, I care so much because it's affecting my day-to-day life.
Yes.
Right? Like
absolutely.
affecting,
It's little stuff like
affecting-
this.
Yeah, it's little stuff like this where like you're impacting the care provider's decision and ability to practice medicine. So like in Idaho, when they invoked their AB ban, there is no longer providers. There's no more OBGYNs or like APRNs in this particular county, and they had to close their maternity ward at their hospital. So it's not only impacting people who want to have an AB or need to have an AB, it's impacting everybody. So
Exactly.
if you can't go give birth at your local county hospital, that's also going to screw you over.
Exactly. Exactly. It's bananas. It's absolutely bananas.
It's absolutely bananas. And so I just heard that this conversation was happening, and I got myself off of the freeway to park my vehicle to have this conversation.
To say this. That's how important this
Aaliyah.
is. Absolutely.
To say these things, because yes, that's how serious this is. That's why this is so important. This is why I continue to talk about how detrimental Christianity is to America, to society, like just across the board. Like it's harmful. It unalives people. Like there are countless women who have unalived because of these abortion bans that have been put into place, and people are doing it in the name of the Lord, right?
Yes.
So,
and we need to get
Absolutely.
loud about it.
that's my soapbox for the day.
There's your soapbox. Thank
There
you.
it is. So you're welcome. I love
Appreciate
talking to
you.
you. This is my favorite. It's my favorite thing ever to talk about ever in the entire world.
Absolutely. Hey, this might be an idea for our
No, it is. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh, word.
gonna-
I'm in.
That's what we're gonna
But
talk about.
I'm gonna be the sous chef. Like I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
no,
chop the
yeah, yeah.
veggies in the back. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah. But that's a very important job, though. So
Absolutely.
just-
Oh, yeah.
just FYI.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, so Black women unalive at a rate of 3 to 4 times more than our white counterparts in, and not just us, but our infants as well, like, or the fetuses as well. So like, if you really care about life, you would get rid of these stupid laws, and like also like consider like all the women who have to have a termination for medical reasons, a TFMR, the women who don't like, who wanted this baby, who chose this baby, like, and now
devastating.
have to do, it's absolutely devastating for them. And so like, what's the alternative? They end up having this fetus that they have to deliver that has like anencephaly and doesn't even have a head. and
Yeah.
like they have to like carry that pregnancy
Yeah.
to term, and know that the baby's gonna, like, just to go through the trauma of, or the potential trauma of labor and birth, to just have a baby that that you don't get to bring home is disgusting.
It
Like,
is.
it's terrible.
It's traumatic and terrible, and it's torture. It's absolute torture.
Yeah.
So
And I
I'm
hate it.
Can I ask
100%
a
with you.
question, Aaliyah? Does Black women have a more harder time carrying a baby?
No. And this is what it is. This is super simple. It's racism, and we have the
Medical
receipts for
racism.
it. Like,
Mhm.
it's
I'm just-
systemic racism in medicine. So Black women are less likely to be believed about their
Wow,
symptoms.
that's sad.
They're less likely, like, to just be tended to. They're like, nurses will have like a negative perception about Black women and say like, oh, like, this patient's being difficult, whatever, blah blah blah, and so like won't be as like attentive or be as nurturing
Mhm.
as they would be to a white patient. Like,
Mhm.
there are multiple.
Wow.
I know I joke about the Shroud of Turin when I'm writing a scholarly article, but I actually have written articles. I've written papers about this. Like, I have written multiple papers about this issue. So this is something that I'm incredibly passionate about. There is tons of
Yeah.
evidence for it.
And
There
it's
was a
even
belief
like
held-
not believing your pain tolerance, issuing
Yeah.
a little bit less anesthesia, things like
Yeah.
that. Thinking
It's all of
that,
that.
it's all of that. Thinking that if you are complaining about pain, it's just something. It's just a way
You're
to
a
get.
drug seeker.
Yep, you're a drug seeker. It's
Yeah.
all of those things.
Yes.
People of color,
Wow.
Black women especially, are much more
Yeah.
likely to be discriminated against for those reasons in those areas.
Yes.
And they get
Yes.
inferior care. It's documented and a fact.
Wow.
There was a study like in 2020, maybe 2020 or like 2019, where they interviewed physicians who were like finishing residency. So like, these are doctors that are practicing now, doctors that were taught like in the last like 10 years or so. And it was like a really ridiculous number where like 60% of them believed that Black people had a higher pain tolerance, because that was still being taught in medical schools.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it's within the system. Like, of course, there's individual doctors like my husband who are great people and like who are working and like actively fighting against the system. But there's people who are just going along with the status quo, and like, this continues and it's perpetuated and it's terrible, and I hate it here. And that's all. That's my soapbox.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I love
I mean, the fact that you
information.
took the time to pull over and come on to my live and say that.
I pulled
That's amazing.
over. I said, wait a minute.
I gotta talk.
No, I did use my blinker. I didn't do
Okay,
any
good.
crazy driving.
Good.
I'm very safe. Remember, I'm a very safe and responsible adult.
I did say last night, a Delulu you I would trust my children with. So
Yes.
I said that last night. I said what I said. 10 toes down,
Yeah.
chest out. A
And
delusional
you
Aaliyah
can
I would
ask-
trust with my kids. I would trust my kids with.
Christina and Noe would trust me with their kids, so you can trust me, but you can also verify it.
I can verify it. Yes, true. But see, the thing is, you're not Delulu now. I'm going to wait till you're Delulu. That's how confident I am in you. I'm going to wait till you're Delulu, and then I'm going to call you. I'm going to go like, okay, I'm going to send my kids to you. See,
Send them over.
That's how confident I am.
Yeah. Also, if we were gonna talk about like something that the Republican people really hate, the whole gender affirming care thing. If they're gonna say that they're gonna get rid of gender affirming care, we should also be getting rid of Viagra, because that's part of gender affirming care.
Part of gender
right?
affirming care. Exactly.
So if you want to take away gender affirming care for our trans friends, then we're gonna take away your Viagra, and so you don't get to do the things with Viagra anymore.
Exactly.
That's all.
Yep.
That's
all.
Yep.
And testosterone
That's
and
all.
testosterone therapy, actually. So
Hormone Joe
therapy.
Rogan, you're and RFK, y'all are SOL.
Yep.
So
You're all SOL. Exactly.
Yep.
Back
All
to
right,
lip dicks for you.
Amazing.
I'm gonna drop down and I'm gonna get back to my commute. Thanks for all the gifts, everybody. And if there's women's health things, I'm right there.
We love it.
Anytime, Aaliyah. Okay, well, if it comes up, we'll throw out the bat signal for you.
Send out the bat signal, and I'm ready for it all the time.
Right on.
Hey, talk to you later.
We love
Bye.
Aaliyah. Bye. We love Aaliyah. Leah's awesome. So yeah. I got no issue with anything she said. All right, let's bring up another guest. ELA. Yay, Aaliyah. How's it going? ELA, how's it going? ELA?
Yo,
Going once, going twice.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. We barely hear you. It's hard to hear you.
I'm gonna put
And
some
there's a
headphones
bit of an echo.
Hello.
Yeah. How's it
Better?
going? Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Can I get your age and your pronouns, please?
29. Him.
Okay. And which God do you believe in?
Christian guy.
All right. What's your best evidence that this God is real?
I feel like the best evidence I would say is just the history stacked up on top of each other.
The history stacked up on top of each other? Okay. What do you mean by
Like
that?
the Bible is not. I mean, the Bible is man-made, but it's man-made over years of different people interacting with supposedly the same spirit or entity.
Okay. All right. And so how does it make it true?
So one story I like to bring up, the story with the three kings and Jesus, right?
Okay.
These were three different people, kings in their own towns, told stories, and also it was a generational thing where it was probably like 3 or 4 generations of their family telling different generations they must wait upon a singular night.
Okay, wait.
And after
Sorry, how do we know that's true?
The three different kings that was documented that came to the farm, it was scripture that made them come to the farm.
Right. How do we know
Something that
how do we know that's true? That actually happened?
as in the story?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have documentations of the story, you know?
Where? Besides the Bible?
The Bible is made up of the text that they recovered. The original text was a script found in the area along with other texts like Joseph's story, Peter's story, Paul's story, different entities surrounding Jesus Christ.
Okay. And then, okay, so they found the text. I'm asking you, how do we know it's true?
I mean, with science, we can date back that it comes around the same time that it was said it was made.
Sure, that's when it's written. I'm asking how do we know the words on the paper are true?
And that's what I'm saying. So those words correlate with the words 100 years later in another text.
Which ones are you talking about? I'm not familiar with this. And then how do you know they weren't copied?
Jesus was born under the North Star, right? That's the story.
Okay. How do we know that's true? Because where is this independently verified?
Within scripture.
Within scripture.
Text.
That they found text. But how do we know on the text what they're saying is true on the text?
No,
I understand that they found the text.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Okay. So you're okay, but I don't accept that it's true then. If we can't verify that it's true, then there's no reason to believe it's true.
I understand that, but the people that verified that these words were stated were scientists.
Okay, the words were stated.
I'm not pointing out.
I got you there. I'm just saying, how do we know that's true? That the stories that they told were true? That's what I'm trying to understand.
I'm not pointing out that it's true or false. What I'm pointing out is they stack upon each other. So we have 1,000 years, we have one story, then we have 100 years after that, we have another story from a person in a town nowhere near that. 100 years after that, we have
the same thing in the Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu holy scripture, holy book. So that makes the Bhagavad Gita true and Hinduism therefore true?
The Bhagavad Gita is passed down through word of mouth, and
it was passed down. It was which is exactly like the scriptures. So that means the Bhagavad, that means Hinduism is true, and we should all be Hindu.
When was the Bhagavad started?
It was approximately about anywhere from 5 to 1500 years before the Bible.
Impossible.
It's one of the
Bible,
it's one
what
of the
Bible are
oldest
you
it's one of the
referring to?
oldest it's one of the oldest religions out there. The earliest
Bible are
known
you referring to?
handwritten version of the Bible is around 500 BC. It's the oldest known.
What is the first language we started speaking?
I have no idea.
The first
Maybe Sanskrit?
language that no, the first language we actually started like documenting text was like Greek.
No,
Alpha.
before that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
The text before that.
The ancient
was not
Egyptians were before
civilized.
the Greeks. So we have
Yeah.
language from the ancient Egyptians, and they're thousands of years before the Greeks. So that's not true.
Facts,
And then
but
we've
that's a law
got
of
the
civilization that we
Sumerians
don't
before
have.
that. We've got
And that's also
you know
another
we've
law
got
of
the
civilization.
Babylonians.
We don't have any in-text on it. I'm saying
Okay.
as in
So
the
we
Greek
have but
time
that's
era is
but
the
Greek
only
isn't
time that
the
we
no
have
no no
that's
no no that's not
documented
true.
all the way down
Okay.
till now.
You need to provide evidence of that. What's your evidence of that?
That is the first alphabet.
Okay,
Alpha,
give me evidence of that.
Omega.
That's the first alphabet. Give me a handwritten like
No,
a
you can
study.
you can
No. It's your claim. You have to provide the evidence that Greek was the first language ever. It's just far from not true. Just completely not true. Yeah, I think it was Sumerian. It was probably cuneiform or Sanskrit, something like that.
Sumerian wasn't used only other than just between Sumerians. Greek was used between.
Okay, but that was the first language ever created, and no, that's not true.
No,
because they were traders. So yes, they used Sumerian with other civilizations too. No, that's not true.
If you say so, I believe. I've read different.
But it's not. It's we have languages older than Greek, sir. We just do. It's a fact.
We do have languages older than Greek, but we don't have any intel on those languages. All we have is
we do. We actually do. We have tablets. We have pieces of tablets.
Clues, yes, and we're using context clues to figure out the sentences on the tablets. Whereas Greek was the first one we had to initialize everything. Like when you learn number 1 and number 2 in math.
This is
now you understand. Like
this is just a weird thing to double down on. It's just not okay. This is such an easy Google search. So I'm just going to ask you to just go search Google after we're done. And it's such an easy search. It's just, it's just very simple.
I understand that Sumerian was their first language, but it wasn't the first language documented. That's where
that's not true. That is absolutely not true. It is very much not true. Okay. So let's just move on. All right. So what I'm trying to understand is just back to your evidence that God is real. So you've got, you cited the Bible. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Bible is true? All of it? Or is there some things in there that aren't correct?
The Bible, I believe it's all true. It's basically history, just different texts.
It's basically history? Okay. So all of it is true.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. And that's the case. Now have you read all of the Bible, like every book?
No, I partake in pieces of it. I just like reading into certain stuff. If I'm curious about something, I research, check it out.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. Well, we can go to the creation story in Genesis. We can start with that, right? Now do you remember what the creation order was in Genesis? Like what was created first? Between vegetation, animals, and humans. What was created first?
It was the earth.
It was the earth. Yeah. And then after that, like
No,
between
it was the earth, humans. It was the earth, humans, and then animals.
Okay. So I'm specifically, vegetation, animals, then humans. That's the three things that I'm asking about. So, well, let's just go to Genesis 1 verses 11 and 12. Okay. You see my screen?
Yeah.
I'll shrink it a little bit.
No, I see
Okay.
it.
You see it? Okay. So it says there, then God said, let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with the seed in it. And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed of every kind, and seed of every kind bearing fruit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and God saw that it was good. Okay. So is that true?
Yeah.
It's true? Okay. And then the next one is animals, right? So if we go to 25, let's just go from, let's just go to Genesis 1:25. Okay. God made the wild animals of the earth of every kind of cattle, every kind, and everything that creeps upon the ground of every kind, and God saw that it was good. Yeah. And then God made humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then God said, let us make humans in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish in the sea. So, yeah. And so let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. So, because he created animals and then humans to have dominion over the fish in the sea, right? So that's what that says in Genesis 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's go check out Genesis 2. I believe it's, we'll just do a big scan of Genesis 2. Okay. And in that day that the Lord God made the heavens and the earth, when no plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no vegetation of the field yet sprung up, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain. Yeah. And then, so we're going to skip ahead here. Oh, then the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. So wait a minute. It says here that God made man first. So is that true?
Where did you interpret that from?
Because it says here, in the day that the Lord God made the heavens, earth and the heavens, when no plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no vegetation of the field had yet sprung up. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was no one to till the ground. But a stream would rise from the earth and water the whole face of the ground. Then the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. So it says here that God made man before there was plant of the field and no vegetation before any vegetation had sprung up. But wait a minute, we just saw here that God said, let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seeds and fruits of every kind. That's what it says in Genesis 1. So which one is true? Did he make man before or after vegetation?
The old text is true.
The old text is true.
The new revised text is definitely manipulated.
Okay, the new revised text is definitely manipulated. So if we go to the original Hebrew, you're saying it's going to say something different?
Hebrew is also, like, after Jesus was crucified, everything, Christianity, Seventh-day Adventists, all religions were taken by higher power and taught in use of power.
Okay.
So,
and
like, if you want to talk about, like, biblical studies and stuff, Bible study and all of that stuff, not to say it's bad, because it still brings you towards faith, but it's still going down the wrong path.
What evidence do we have of that claim?
On what?
That everything got changed after Jesus was crucified.
Who made the Bible after Jesus was crucified? The people who crucified him.
Okay. So I'm asking you, what evidence do you have that it was changed?
Not that it...
You said it was changed. Okay, so I'm asking you, how do you know, what is your evidence that it was changed?
There's no evidence. I partake in human nature. If
so you
don't, somebody,
so you have no evidence that it's changed.
And if I'm battling you and I take you down, am I going to go forth and preach what you said, or am I just going to preach what I said?
Okay, but we have no evidence that it's changed. No evidence at all. And you're just saying, oh, it's human nature. They just had to have done that. But you have no way to verify that that's true.
They've had to done it. No, they killed him. What else did you think? They killed him and they killed everybody.
Why would they change Genesis after killing Jesus? That doesn't make any sense. Why would they change that? Power? Okay, what power would they gain by changing Genesis 2 and changing the order?
Because if you have 1 million people following one way and you learn to adapt that one way, now you have that 1 million people following you.
Yeah, there's just no
That's
reason to.
plain
Okay,
and
but
simple.
you have no evidence of that. But we have no evidence, so I reject that. Okay.
Okay.
Anything
So if that
else?
was the case, though, if that was the case, why does Ethiopians state a different claim from modern day Christianity?
I don't know. I don't really care.
Because
I'm
they
just
they
looking.
they
I'm
state
looking
that
at.
they
I'm looking
state.
at the evidence, and we don't have
No, I
any
know
evidence
the
that any of
evidence
this was
that you're
changed.
looking at is the evidence that you're looking at is the science on your terms. But like I said, around the world, we have old texts that still haven't been touched supposedly, and we have people that
Where?
actually fight against that
Where?
in Ethiopia.
Where?
Where in Ethiopia?
Yeah, where in Ethiopia? Where are these texts that people are fighting over? Oh, you know, it's funny this because I've heard this like come out like very recently. I didn't like this was not a thing like 25 years ago. Like you didn't hear any of this stuff.
25 years ago, there wasn't, we didn't, 25 years ago, the internet was not made as accessible to spread knowledge the way it is.
Oh boy.
You got to
Okay.
understand, there was a car salesman.
It's very
that was
true.
The greatest car smell. There was a great car salesman in France that we've never heard of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
25 years
you know what I'm
ago,
saying?
there were a lot less flat earth believers than there are today. You're absolutely right. And it's because of the internet.
That is also true. That is also true.
That's right. So, all right. Well, granted. Okay. So, all right. So we don't have any evidence that the Bible was changed. Okay.
We have. I told you the Ethiopian texts are very different from the texts that we have in modern day scripture.
But how do we know that it's just not that that somebody just wrote those and changed it to what they wanted to change? How do we know those are the actual authentic ones?
I mean, well, one, we just seen clearly you just read an old text and then you read a new revised text, and they both mean two different things.
Okay.
And that's just off of you going through your research
And that's
on your side.
Yeah, that is from the oldest known copies of the Bible that the scholars have.
Yeah, the scholars is who now? Who are we implying that is the scholars that?
Okay, so now the scholars are lying?
No, I'm saying who are you referring to is the scholars?
Theologians, biblical scholars. There is a body of do you understand what the NRSVUE do you understand how the NRSVUE is made? This is the new revised standard version updated edition. Do you understand how it's put together and published?
Go ahead and inform me.
Okay. So this is the edition that a person who enrolls in like a seminary, like an accredited seminary, this is the copy that they will be handed when they enroll in an accredited seminary. And this is the version that is the scholarly consensus of what the translation is, and it is the most updated edition out of all the books. And so what they do is they continuously look at like the old manuscripts or anything like that. And so if there's anything that comes up that they say, oh, here's an older parchment that we just discovered, and now we have translated it, we put it together, then that will be put into the updated edition.
It keeps simplifying.
But it's based on older. It's based on like older parchments. Thank you, chat. So we're going to start the poll. We'll start the poll.
I feel like it's based on older parchments, but with new perspectives. You can't tell a farmer something that a fisherman has been doing, or even explain a lifestyle of that. So we have new scholars in new modern day living a regular life, enjoying the new tech, the new high world, new different systems and different things that we're struggling for is very complicated compared to what was back then.
Okay, I'm not sure how any of that's relevant.
I mean, okay, well, would you dumb yourself down to talk to somebody that's less smarter than you?
Yeah, like we do that with little kids. You know, because kids don't know. Kids? Yeah, kids don't know what we know.
Teach kids.
Yeah,
no,
well,
they don't know what we know, but we teach them along the way every step.
Yeah, we teach them
Right.
along the way every
So
step, but
that's
we
what I'm
don't
saying. So
but
they're
we don't
not dumb.
use scholarly translations and things. No, that's not what I meant.
They're
What I
not
said,
dumb.
they don't know as much as we do. So we will talk
Yeah, they
down
don't
to
know.
kids. We will talk in their
Okay.
language so they
Yes,
understand what
but
we're
that has nothing.
saying. Okay.
Kids have nothing to do with somebody who's incompetent. We're talking about somebody your same age but does not learn.
Hmm.
Will you dumb down for them to learn?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah,
spent a whole career doing
for
that.
what cause?
Not that they were dumb. They just didn't know like the terminology that I knew. I was a systems engineer for over
Exactly.
25 years. So I wasn't going to sit and educate people on, 4 to 6 years of academic training that I had just so I could make a point. That is inefficient, right? So I would use simple terminology. I would use layman's terms. I would use analogies so that they would understand the type of like solutions I was providing or the type of systems design I was providing, the reasons behind it, all of those things. So yeah, I mean, I think it's an important skill to quote unquote dumb things down for people who don't understand. It's not, and it has nothing to do with the person's level of intelligence. It's just their level of understanding. That's a whole different thing. They could be very intelligent people, just not have the educational background or the skills or anything like that to understand where you're coming from. Does that make sense?
No, that definitely makes sense. But do you
Okay.
understand them? Do you
Yeah.
know why he went ahead and just dropped a cup of water on the floor? Do you know why he just literally yelled for no reason and tapped his chest? Do you know what
You
was
talking
the
a
reason?
child? Is that what
No,
you're talking
I'm
about?
talking about I'm talking about an incompetent somebody who's your same age, but just instead of acting, I guess, the way regular normal society does,
Oh,
they
okay.
act
So,
something differently.
okay. So
I'm
like if they have
asking
some
you,
type
would you
of,
understand them?
maybe
No.
not, probably
All
not,
right.
but
So
I would
that's what I'm
try to
saying.
understand them. I would try
You're
to.
trying. I feel you, but that's what I'm saying. So you're trying to say modern day scholars is understanding 3,000-year-old text?
As they
You've
study it,
seen what
they
you
study it as they study it more. Yeah, they do.
uh-huh.
They understand it a little bit better. They don't understand it
A little.
100% and fully, but they
Exactly.
gain more
Exactly.
understanding the more they study it. Yeah, we
And
know
they
more
go
about
off
these
of
texts than we did say 30 years ago, and we
and they
know
go off
and
of
yeah,
they go off of he say she say. So the last person who said something, they go off of his implement as
yeah,
well.
right.
So that's, to me, that's influence.
Okay. Well, ELA, they have voted to move on to the next guest, but I do appreciate you coming up. So have a good day.
Bless. You too.
All right. So that was something. That was something. Oh, yikes. So where was Lorenzo? Where was the Lorenzo at? Who said what he said in chat? I'm gonna find that, because see, any Christian who starts citing Psalm 14 verse 1, they're risking hell. That's what they're doing. They're risking hell. So let's see if I can find it. I wrote this in my notes some time ago. See if I can find it. Yes, there it is. So in Matthew, I think it's 5:27, I think. I'm still not there yet. But in Matthew, it does say, if you call people fools, you risk hellfire. You risk eternal torture. So why would you do that as a Christian? Why would you call people fools and risk your own salvation for a flex? That doesn't.
Wait, where is this at?
Here, I can find it. Here, I'll find it. Where the fuck is it? I'll have to find it. Because I had it in here and I can't find it now. I might just have to Google it again. Yep, there it is. Matthew 5, verse 22.
Oh, okay.
But I say to you, but I say to you, everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council, and whoever says you fool will be liable to the hell of fire. So why would you try to flex on somebody? Yeah, 522. Thank you. So why would you flex on somebody and cite Psalm 14:1 as a flex and risk your own? Oh, I'm not a brother? I see. And it says, and so you have to listen to the rest of it. And whoever says you fool will be liable to the hell of fire. So that's a different phrase. Whoever says you fool will be liable to the hell of fire. Why would you say something stupid like that? Why would you be that dumb to call people fools who don't believe in God? That's yeah. That's true, Aaliyah. I do look like a lot of people call me a brother. But yeah, that's just stupid. Just for a flex on TikTok. And you're doing it to insult people. So
That's wild. I didn't even know that.
yeah. It says it right there, plain as day. Here, I'll put it up on screen so everybody can see it.
I'll mark it in the Bible that
Matthew
League of Militant
5:22.
Atheists gave me.
Yep. And we will, and it says, and if you say you fool, you will be liable to the hell of fire. So why would you quote that? Why would you quote that passage? It's just dumb. It's trying to make me log in. Oh, no. Okay, good. So it says it right there. And if you say you fool, you will be liable to the hell of fire. So it's either you're really dumb or you're not a real Christian. It's one of the two. So which one is it? So Christians who have quoted Psalm 14:1 before, which one is it? Are you dumb or are you not a real Christian? It's one of the two. Because you can't really call yourself a Christian and then go around and say that. So which one is it? I'm talking specifically about the ones who walk around saying that verse to people online. That's specifically the people I'm talking to. So which one is it? So anytime, so guess or chat. If you're running your own lives, if you are, if you're in the chat of another person's live and then you see somebody start saying shit like that, just quote them Matthew 5:22 and just say, are you dumb or are you not a real Christian? Which one is it? Challenge them on it. Yeah,
Man, I've been getting a lot of that shit lately.
Yeah, challenge them because they're not supposed to be saying shit like that. Oh, arrogance is a choice. Yeah. Arrogance is a choice. And they're not supposed to be arrogant. That's the other part of it. Both can be true. Yeah, they can be dumb and not a real Christian. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Or is it both? So there's three options. Are you dumb? Are you not a real Christian? Or are you both? In which case, why the fuck are you saying it? Because in any of the three cases, you shouldn't be saying anything like that. So I think that's what we need to do from now on. Is we need to ask these Christians these questions. They need to step up and own this, because there's so much bad behavior going on.
And they're never accountable for their own bullshit either. That's the sad part.
Yep. Who was the first atheist? That's a good question. I'm not sure. A camel will pass through the eye of a needle before you can log in without a password. That's going to be the new, what is that? The CAPTCHA. It's the new CAPTCHA. You got to feed the camel through the eye of the needle. That's new CAPTCHA to verify your fucking password. That's really funny, Dan Blackroyd.
That reminds me of that video that you had about that camel toe thing. Oh my God.
Oh man, that was so long ago. That's hilarious. Yeah, I can't wait for the year to come up.
Yes. I never forgotten about it. Anytime
Yeah.
I try to find something funny, I always go back to that and then I'm laughing.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's a good one, Sekhmet's Biddy Blade. Yeah, everyone who's born is an atheist. So the first baby, yeah, the first human baby was an atheist. Oh, there's a moon launch. Oh, the Artemis is getting launched, huh? That's right. I'm excited because my understanding is they have a woman on that crew. Yeah. They have a woman on that crew. So that's exciting. So we're
That
sending
is
a woman to the
exciting.
moon for the first time. Yeah, you know, only what, 60 fucking years later
Yeah.
after we first went there. Yeah. And a black man, yes. When we oh yeah. I don't think we sent black people to the moon, have we? Mm-hmm. Artemis 2. Yeah.
I really wish history was made about, let's see, is it 2 years now that we've been in this administration?
You don't need
Anyways.
the right attitude to find truth. Like you could have a bad attitude and find truth. I mean, if it's true,
yeah.
it's true. Yeah. You don't need to have a bad attitude. Yeah. You don't need to have the right attitude. Like you can find out 1 + 1 = 2 and have a bad attitude about it. So truth is independent of attitude. That's got nothing to do with it. I think it's just cope to explain why you can't demonstrate that your God is real. So we have a return guest, Robert. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Did I say it right? Robert?
Robert is fine.
Robert. That's it. I had to put the T on the end. Robert is French. That's right. Okay. Robert. Good to see you again. All right.
That was painful, listening to these. Like, I'm wondering, you mentioned that you used to be Catholic.
Yep. Born and raised. I was going to be a priest at one time.
Yeah, did you used to believe, like, in stuff like this, like the previous guests? Like, taking the Old Testament literally and believing that the Earth was created 6,000 years ago?
I didn't believe in that. Because actually the Jesuits, the order that like educated me, they had this pick and choose kind of thing with like things in the Bible. Like they say, well, some of these, you know, you can just tell they're metaphors. You just kind of use your common sense and you can tell, like if it says, you know, vegetation was created first and then man, and then it says man, and then, you know, the two creation stories. Well, you know, we're going to look at that it's a metaphor for something else. I can't remember what, but you know, it was a metaphor. And they said it was a bigger metaphor into like the fall of man and how we got to where we are and all that stuff. So that's kind of how they explained it. But that makes sense to me. But as I went on, I began to see that, well, then that's the case, then you could take everything as a metaphor. And then there's things like God's law, you know, in the Old Testament. Well, that certainly was not a metaphor. And then if we look at that, that's some pretty horrific stuff in there. So can't take laws as a metaphor. You know, you have to take the laws literally because people have to follow the laws. So they can't be metaphors. Can't be open to interpretation.
Yeah, sure.
So
that's a much harder thing to say than just, no, I wouldn't genocide babies if God said to me.
Exactly. So yeah, you know, like for example, the story, because I come at Christians with this story a lot. It's 2 Kings chapter 2, where Elisha curses the kids that are making fun of him for being bald, and then 42 she-bears come out of the woods and maul all 42 kids, maul 42 of the kids. And that one, when I was a Catholic, when I was a Christian, I definitely called that one a metaphor. It was a metaphor for God's power, right? And that God was calling these people because it was near Samaria or at Samaria, one of the two, but it was some godless people who were there, some people who didn't believe in him, and so he was displaying his power to them. And And so that's why, the bears were called out, ignoring all the entire time that, having 42 bears come out to kill kids for calling somebody a bald head. It's pretty horrific. But, we just take that as a metaphor. But for Christians who literally believe it, it's a great way to get them to see, like, what am I reading here?
Yeah. But me as a new Catholic, I used to be an atheist, and I recently converted.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes perfect sense to me that story is just like a children's fairy tale, something that they would use to teach children to respect prophets. Like, I don't get why there are so many Christians who just have to take everything literally and fall for all of these baseless conspiracy theories.
Well, I'm going to argue, Robert, that I would argue that that's kind of goes hand in hand with religion, is, superstition, believing in supernatural things and things of that sort. And so it kind of leads to these kind of beliefs. Like, for example, like one of the, because I think have you taken all 7 sacraments?
No, I'm getting.
You're in the process of it?
Confirmed. I'm getting confirmed in May.
Okay. And so, and so you haven't gone through all the catechism yet. That's what it sounds like.
We have studied it. But...
Okay. Like, for example, like when you, like for communion, like Holy Communion, do you believe that the transformation actually happens? That the bread and wine actually become the body and blood of Christ?
Well, I think there's a lot of nuance to the language there. Like, yeah, because
you gotta read the catechism.
It actually physically becomes blood, but it's under the nature of the bread. It takes on the nature of Jesus' blood, but it doesn't physically becomes blood and bread.
They might have changed. Yeah, they might have changed the explanation lately. But when I was a Catholic, you had to literally believe it became the body and blood of Christ.
I don't think that's the explanation anymore.
Yeah, they shifted it because if you think about it, that sounds really silly, right?
Like, I don't think that the explanation for the Catholics is that if you take a blessed, how do you say in English, the bread?
The host. They call it the host.
The host. You take it under a microscope. It's not gonna be a meat tissue.
Right, and it's not gonna literally be blood in the cup. Yeah, in the chalice. Yeah.
It's more than a symbol, but it's less than a physical transformation. But I think the important thing that people should believe, even if you're not Catholic, is that it's a sacrifice. So,
was it a sacrifice though?
Yes.
Was it? How so?
Well, someone willingly chose to go to the cross and die so that we may follow him and be better people, be more kind to the neighbors and even our enemies, those we think are enemies, and forgive each other for our trespasses. I think those are good things to believe.
Okay. Well, he died on a Friday afternoon, right? Or Friday evening. Friday afternoon-ish evening, somewhere like that. Late Friday afternoon, right? And then, according to the story, he was placed in the tomb, and then he was there Saturday, right? And then rose by Sunday morning, right?
Yep.
Which is on the 3rd day. However, by modern timekeeping standards, that actually turns out to be like somewhere around like around 60 hours. Because if you take around, just say like 4 in the afternoon, and then, by sunrise, he was gone. It's roughly 60 hours. So it's about a day and a half that he was actually out, right? He was actually dead. It wasn't 3 days. He was on the third day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but really it was like an hour, about a day and a half that he was dead. Now, God knew though that Jesus would die and rise again, right? When he sent him?
Yep.
Okay. So what sacrifice was being made then? Because if he knew that was going to happen,
Well, the 59 lashes, the crown of thorns, dragging the cross up the hill.
Mhm.
I mean, the being nailed to a wood.
Yeah.
I think that's something that you wouldn't do yourself without a good reason.
Well, if it's eternally, right? If you know you're going to live eternally, and you know you're not going to actually die, like you're going to die and you're going to resurrect, I'm just not seeing how it's a sacrifice, because he didn't actually sacrifice anything. He came down from heaven, spent some time, then suffered, then but
taking on suffering like that is a sacrifice.
I mean, if you know you're going to take it on, is it really a sacrifice?
What do you mean it's going to take? Like,
well, God knew this was going to...
accepting pain and suffering for the sake of others is a sacrifice.
Well, Jesus was God, right? But in human form.
Yes.
Do you think he really felt that pain?
Yes, I do, of course.
You think so?
Well,
okay.
You think so as well.
Well, how do we know that, though?
Well,
because if he's God...
Jesus existed?
Yeah. Now, I know, I'm agnostic on it, okay? But let's just say for the sake of argument that he did exist.
It's a pretty historic fact that a teacher named Jesus existed in the first century.
Sure.
Sure. And I think the Bible probably gives an accurate account of his ordeal.
Let's just say he did, and let's just say he was God. All right. I'm just going to grant that Jesus was God, because yes, as a human, taking lashes, getting the crown of thorns. I'm assuming this all happened, and getting crucified, because a lot of people got crucified back then, and tortured. Yeah. Being tortured and crucified. Beyond anything I can imagine would be, I can't imagine the pain you would go through, the absolute agony you would go through. I can't imagine what that would be. So as a human, a significant sacrifice. But I'm talking about as a God who would come down in human form, knows he's going to resurrect, knows that he's going to get through this. I just don't see it as a sacrifice. That's just like me saying I made a sacrifice getting my wisdom teeth pulled. I mean, because mine were pretty painful. I had one that was impacted and it was painful, but I don't see it as a sacrifice. It was just, it was something I had to do.
Yeah, but you had to do it for yourself. You did that so that your own health.
Mm-hmm.
But the story and the message is that God did suffer all this pain and humiliation for our sake.
Right. The difference, though,
I don't
is...
see how you can say that's not a sacrifice to take on.
The reason why I can say that, Robert, is because a sacrifice means you give up something. And we're not seeing where Jesus... Well, no, it is. That's what it is. You're sacrificing something. You give up something. That you don't get anything in return. And see, the thing is that, like, if a person sacrifices their life, they don't get a life back, right? They don't get anything in return. And see, Jesus getting a life back, he got something in return. He was made whole again. And that's part of what sacrificing is. You're not made whole. So like if you donate your kidney to somebody, you sacrifice your kidney, you don't get another one back. You just lose that kidney. And
I understand.
So
I understand that he didn't give up his life because he
Nope,
was
he didn't.
resurrected,
Mhm.
but the pain, like that is also a sacrifice. Like if a mother offers up that instead of his child being punished by lashes for stealing or something, that they should be lashed in turn, that is also a form of sacrificing yourself for another. And I think that's what Jesus and God did for us. Like,
Mm.
and that's important because that's the main message of the Bible, like that God suffered for us, and so that we may forgive each other and ourselves,
Mm.
following his own example.
Right. Okay. So let's just take the idea of sacrifice, right? So if we take the idea of sacrifice, because this is the other part that doesn't make sense to me. So Jesus is God, so that means God sacrificed himself because Jesus is God, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then who was the sacrifice to?
Himself.
Right. So God sacrificed himself to save us, because you just said to save us, right?
Yes.
So they made the sacrifice to save us. And to save us from whom?
From ourselves.
From ourselves?
Yes.
In what way? Like we weren't going to off ourselves, right? Like who would punish us?
I think we were punishing and hurting ourselves by being selfish, hateful, small-minded, and warlike people.
Okay. What I'm saying though is, what would have happened to humanity had God not sacrificed himself to himself? What would the consequence be? What would the end result be?
I don't think that without that, I don't think we would have reached the point where we are today, that people think about each other as equal human beings, where their suffering is their own suffering, and where people just accept as a fact that you should not hurt other people and you should teach everyone as if your own brother.
Yeah. I hear that. Let's go back to my question though. Let's go back to my question real quick. What would the consequence be had God not sacrificed himself?
Yeah,
what would happen to humanity?
This change in human nature would not have suffered, and we would have continued to live in a primitive and boring
at the end of the world, like, because eventually there would be an end of this world, right? What would happen to all of us at the end of the world had God not sacrificed himself? Well, we would all go to hell. That's why he made the sacrifice, right?
I don't
know. No one
there...
would go to heaven. That's how you get to heaven, is you have to believe in Jesus and the sacrifice, and that's how you get to heaven, right?
Yes, that's how you get eternal life.
Okay, and who would send us to hell?
No one would send us there. We would just be separated from God and not experience
what?
An afterlife.
There's like a trap door?
No, I think the before Jesus' sacrifice, like, there was the understanding among even Jews that this was the only life we had, and after that it was nothing.
Okay,
that was final.
Let's look at that.
I mean, I think that was controversial. There were different thinking among Jewish scholars in the first century, but I don't think that without Jesus we would have reached heaven, and that was the goal.
Okay, yeah, you wouldn't reach heaven, right? But my what I'm asking is, but you're saying then that so what's the mechanism to which we wouldn't go to heaven? Like, is it like a trap door on the ground, or like how do we get to how would a person get to hell in your estimation?
We would just not cease to exist as conscious
we would just
beings.
cease to exist. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's not quite what the Bible says. So I don't know if you've read this part, but because you had earlier said it's a separation from God, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go take a look at Revelation 21 verse 8. And
I would be careful with Revelation.
I would? Why?
Well, it's just very, it's not really, it's very a story like it's very, it's full of prophecy,
Oh, yeah.
allegory, and pictures.
Oh yeah. That's what I was taught in Catholic school too. That it's allegory. So you don't think it's true where it says, but as for the cowardly, the faithless, the polluted, the murderers, the sexually immoral, the sorcerers, the idolaters, and all liars, their place will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. Are you saying that's not true?
I don't know if that's true.
Okay, you don't know if it's true. Okay.
Don't.
You don't know if it's true. Okay. And so, like, what about what Jesus said about where people like this go?
I think he said something similar, punishment after death, but I think that's more like a warning than an actual certainty.
Yeah, because it says in the New Testament that
there are many liberal Catholics who think that maybe hell is empty and the main point of hellfire and threat and threatening people with that was to guide people to be better human beings with each other.
Okay, so was Jesus being literal or metaphorical when he talked about the weeping and gnashing of teeth?
Well, that sounds like a very metaphorical language, gnashing of teeth. Like, it's a...
So when it says here, the Son of Man will send his angels and they will collect out of his kingdom and all causes of sin and all evildoers, and they will throw them into the furnace of fire where they will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So you're saying that's metaphorical? Verse 42?
So this is the end times, right? The all causers of sin and evildoers, like...
Yeah. Well, this is more than a separation, though. This is throwing them into the furnace. Like, who's they that he's talking about? Who's they that will throw them into the furnace of fire?
I guess all causes of sin and evildoers.
It says here, the Son of Man will send his angels, and Jesus is the Son of Man, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the Son of Man will send his angels, and they will collect out of his kingdom all causes of sin and all evildoers, and it's the angels, will throw them into the furnace of fire where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So the Son of Man is specifically, so Jesus is sending angels to go collect all the causes of sin and evildoers to throw them into the furnace of fire. But that's not a separation. That's torture.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the end times. Okay. Maybe that's the case, and maybe we should be worried about that's what could happen. But I don't feel like that's have to be true for the Bible to be valid.
Doesn't have to be true. So it could be if you're saying it could be a metaphor, an allegory.
Well, it could be just a warning or make people behave better. Yeah.
Why would you warn people with something that's not true, though? That doesn't make sense either.
Why not? If the end justifies the means.
If they as long as they behave, then it's okay.
Oh, isn't it?
I would say no. I think that's very dangerous, Robert.
Why not?
Well, so if we take the ends justify the means, would it be then okay then for God to, if God knows that a baby is going to one day grow up and be a serial unaliver, are you saying it's justified for God to kill that baby?
For God, no. But for me, if I would see into the future and see that this baby will grow up to kill 100 people, maybe it would be justified for me to kill it.
Yeah.
I don't think it is justifiable for God, because then he would have to kill every serial killer as a baby, and then
Right. Or, well, why not just not create him in the first place? Just not let him be born.
well, then that's like, then he would interfere with free will and human
Right. But wouldn't
beings.
the ends justify the means, though?
No, because the end would be a less free world.
It'd be a less free world with serial killers, with no serial killers.
Yes.
That's kind of wild, Robert. not gonna lie. That's a wild take.
I mean,
So the
have
world
you
would be
seen-
worse off without serial killers?
Have you seen the
Robert, come on, man.
Special
Come
Report?
on. Which one?
What's the Tom Cruise movie, Special Report, or
Special Report? Oh, Minority Report. Is that the one you're talking
Minority Report? Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
Minority
no murder
Report.
in that word, but I wouldn't want to be living that.
Oh, where they can like read your minds and
Well, they read
yeah,
the
they
future.
prosecute for thought crimes, right?
Well, they prosecute you because they see the future that you
Yeah.
will kill someone.
Yeah.
So they catch you and put you in jail.
Right.
Like, that's
Well,
not a utopian.
Well, the problem though is that they don't know, they're not all knowing, right? They can only see the future.
Well, they sometimes make mistakes. That's the point.
Mm-hmm. They sometimes make
because they
mistakes and
sometimes
they're
make
not, they're in,
mistakes,
yeah.
then they have to cover it up. That they
That
are
was
not
the
perfect.
problem. Yeah, right. Because they're not perfect. That's the problem. But if you have a perfect God who can see perfectly into the future, I'm not sure why that would hurt free will by just not creating serial killers. Well, okay. Well, go ahead. Let's roll with that one. But I have another question. I just thought of a better question, but go ahead and go with that one.
I think it's a better world where we as human beings can choose between good and evil, and we can choose to be evil, to murder, to rape. We just choose not to, because we just choose to be better than our worst impulses.
Okay. Are there is there free will in heaven?
Yes.
Okay, so you can murder and rape in heaven?
No. I mean, you could, but you just won't.
You just won't? Well, why not?
Because all the people who would want to didn't get to heaven.
They don't get to. Okay. So you're saying the ones who don't want to go to heaven. Well, see, I don't want
Go to
to.
hell.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to grape anybody. I don't want to steal, but I'm going to be going to hell because I don't believe in this God. So not everybody who doesn't want to goes to heaven.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, you're optimistic, Robert. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well,
That's
even
very
that
nice
the
of you.
Catholic teachings that there are special ways to get
There
into
are
hell.
there are exceptions, yeah. There are
Yes,
special
you
exceptions.
don't have to be a Catholic or a Christian
Right.
to become
Right.
to heaven.
But I'm trying to
If you're a
understand. What I'm trying to understand is
non-believer,
why wouldn't you want to? Is it just people
Why
who
wouldn't-
naturally wouldn't want to? They just get to go to heaven?
why wouldn't you want to what?
Like unalive people in heaven.
Would you want to?
I wouldn't want
If
to.
you were in
No.
heaven?
No.
Me
But you're
neither.
saying everybody who goes to heaven wouldn't want to, and I'm trying to find
Yeah.
out why. I'm trying to figure out why. Why wouldn't
Well, there's two of us here. Neither of us would want to, so I don't see why that's so hard to imagine.
they? Yeah, it's not. However, we don't know everybody's minds, right? Like
Well-
someone we talk to. I'm not saying you. It's definitely not me, but you could even say that about me. You don't know for sure when I tell you, yeah, I don't want to. You don't know that 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you're telling the truth. I'm pretty confident you're telling the truth. However, you would agree that there are people who, if we ask them, do you want to unalive people? Do you want to grape people? And a lot of them would say, no. But that doesn't mean that they're telling the truth, right?
I think there is very few people who,
I would agree.
without special circumstances, would murder people. Like,
Yeah.
I think most murder comes from misunderstanding, tension, hatred, and I don't think we
Great
losing
question, Leah.
that in heaven, we would also lose our free will. Like,
Okay.
if we ascend to a different level of being, we could do that while still remaining human.
Okay. Now, is it if you want to unalive people but you haven't, do you still get to go to heaven?
Yes.
Okay. So then that means there might be somebody who wants to unalive somebody and gets into heaven. So we can't for sure say nobody would want to, because you just let one person in that wants to, but they just don't for whatever reason.
I mean, if someone has an inner need to unalive people, I don't think they would get into heaven. But like,
okay,
if you want to kill your mother-in-law sometimes, I don't think you necessarily can get into heaven.
okay. Well, see, that's what I'm trying to understand. Because, like, for example, Jeffrey D. I can't say the name because I'll get restricted.
Sure.
Schmammer. There we go. Jeffrey Schmammer.
Patrick Bateman.
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about, Robert?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Now, Jeffrey Schmammer actually converted to Christianity and gave his life to Jesus. And
wasn't he murdered before he was
exactly.
baptized?
Yes. If my
God intervened to make sure.
Maybe. I don't know if it was before or after he was baptized, but let's just say, because you said you never know, right? And he repented and he asked for forgiveness and all that stuff. I think you're right. He didn't make it to his baptism. But let's just say, because you did say you never know, he could be there according to Catholic doctrine, right? So this is somebody who definitely wanted to kill people, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a possibility that he could get into heaven.
It is.
Okay. So
it depends of how truly he regretted his crimes.
How truly he regretted. Yeah, it depends. So that means it's possible he could kill somebody in heaven, right?
It's possible he could kill someone in heaven.
Well, at least you're honest, Robert. Oh, he did get baptized. Christina the Godless with the factoid in the chat. It says Christina the Godless correctly pulled it up. He did get baptized. He was baptized before he died.
I don't know. Maybe, do you think that's a problem?
That he got baptized or that he's in heaven?
That he's in heaven, maybe.
Oh, I think that's a big problem. And here's why, Robert. And we got to make this the last thing. But I'll let you say the last word. But here's the reason why I think it's a problem. The reason why it's a problem, Robert, is because there's a possibility that some of his victims are in heaven, right?
Yep.
Or now a lot of his victims were of the LGBTQ community. And so
was he.
So was he. And a lot of those people either weren't baptized, didn't repent before they died, which means that they might be in purgatory, they might be in hell. You know, we don't know for sure. So one problem I have with it is that Jeffrey Schmammer would be in heaven while at least some of his victims would not be, or maybe at least one. There'd be a good possibility his victims would not be, or he would be in heaven and his victims are there. And then imagine what if they're just walking in heaven and they just cross paths? Like, what's that? What's that meeting like?
Well, I would like to think that...
I mean, that's awkward.
Yeah, maybe. But I would like to think that there is some kind of understanding of each other as human beings that we can reach, where we can forgive even our own murderers.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a big ask. I'm just saying. It's a big ask.
Yeah. Sure.
It's a big ask. All right. Well, hey, Robert, I gotta wrap things up, but I gotta let you go. So I appreciate you coming up and talking with me again.
Thanks for talking.
Yeah, you got it, man. All right. Have a good day. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was a hell of a ride as a conversation. And thanks for pulling a little research there, Christina. Appreciate that. That's why I love chat, you know, because if I just say I'm not sure, then somebody will go find it for me. So that's awesome. Well, that was a fun conversation at the end. I would like to wrap it up. So that was fun. How did we do on our cards? Did anybody win? I know how did we do?
Christina's like got one. I think she's still.
Oh, yeah, man. Man, we came up short. Yeah, you're still waiting. That is amazing, Christina, because that is like, it's a touch. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I touch a nerve? I'm so sorry. Yeah, I totally understand, man. We went through 2 guests and you didn't mark anything. Oh, that's, yeah. And, oh, geez. And on top of that, you've got like one of the most commonly used words and it did not come up one time. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll drop it. I don't want to make Christina mad. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to risk that. It is. You got it. And yeah, so I thought for sure somebody would say it. And it has been like over an hour. We've had like 2 guests and nobody said it. That's wild. That is wild. But there's always tomorrow. And nobody said it in the Wait, you just said it. It said it in chat. Christina, you just won, didn't you? Yeah, because saying it in chat works. Oh, well, Christina, you won. You got to mark your card. Isn't that the word? Isn't that it? Yeah, even it's a friendly. Exactly. If it's said in chat. Absolutely. WWW, Christina, you're a winner. Woo! Okay, well, we got to bring Christina up and so she can say, "Oh my God, I won!" You know, so you gotta say stuff like that.
I'm going to Disneyland.
You're going, you're getting a kick pole coupon, but you know, but it's really close. It's really close.
Except when I went into Google Jeffrey Dahmer's baptism, it kicked my card off. So I need to pull the card back up again.
Okay. I think, did I send you the link? I think I did, right?
You did, yeah.
Okay, and I can see that it says context, so yeah, I'll give you the W. I got you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, I'll give it to you. You got it. Yes, but Christina the Godless did have context. Yeah, but isn't that wild that nobody said it? Like none of the guests said it. Yeah. Like for over an hour.
Like, there has to be, and even there was one point where you guys were like, "Well, you know, you're like taking it a different way," and I'm like thinking, like, "Come on, like just fucking say it."
Just say it.
I've thrown stuff across my room.
Oh my goodness. Thing. Yeah. I get it. I totally understand. That was like, because especially when I like built it up, like, oh, you got this in the bag, Christina. There's no problem here. No, yeah.
You jinxed me.
I totally built it up and then like, oh, that's great. But congratulations. Yay. So yes, you are the proud owner of a early kick pole coupon, good forever. And if you win again, Christina, this is the best part. If you win again, you can trade it in for a jellyfish. So you just all you have to do is just yell. If you get the second one, you trade in for jellyfish. All you got to do is yell it in the chat. Just say jellyfish, and the guest is gone.
Annoying me.
Or annoying you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you specifically. It doesn't even have to be the entire chat. Just you.
Can I just use it like and say never let pumpkin baby up on your panel?
You could
use it like that.
Yeah, you could. Just never let. Actually, it's funny because who is that back with new content? Like, there's somebody out there who will just insta jellyfish him when he comes up. Like the other day, yeah, he lasted like 2 minutes the other day, and I think it was the person had to recharge their coins to to get
Oh
to
my
get him out.
gosh, that's so great. Well, thank you.
Of course, yeah. So that's fun. And the other best part, I'm very happy that you won, is because I like you, number one. But number two, the other part I'm glad you won is that we don't have to do a fucking like wheel spin because
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not giving it to anybody. I'm not that nice.
Awesome. I'm not that nice. Awesome. I'm glad. Because that was so damn complicated
That was a
yesterday.
lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. So, okay, so I'm gonna restart the game, and I'm gonna clear and scramble. So tomorrow, we're gonna start again tomorrow, and so I got 66 cards here. So everybody, you still are gonna play. I'm gonna restart the game, and then we're gonna take it from there and get a new winner, or maybe Christina will win again.
I'm never gonna get shit done again in my whole life.
You're just gonna sit here and listen to the whole thing.
I started doing laundry. I was good, and then I was like, no, I'm just gonna sit here and wait because I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
Damn word.
I know.
All right.
I know. Well, and see,
Thank you.
of course. But hey, it's worth the dirty laundry. See, that, my friends, is what a sacrifice is. See, this is a sacrifice. Jesus getting crucified, knowing he would, and then rising on the third day after a day and a half. Yeah, that's not a sacrifice. Not having dirty ass laundry to get the 5-minute the early kickball coupon, that is a sacrifice. See, that's the distinction.
I do what I gotta do.
See, yeah. Now Christina has no drawers for tomorrow because she was waiting for this damn thing to come in, and see, that's a sacrifice.
Underwear is overrated anyway.
Turn it inside out, and you're good.
Exactly. There you go. I think it's just boys that do that, but yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is, yeah. So.
All right. Well, I will be here tomorrow for sure.
All right. So yay, we have a winner. Thank you, Christina. So we have a winner. Yeah, you can wash your clothes at 3 a.m. Ain't nobody got no time for that. Forever Atheist, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Trust?
I'm doing well, sir. It's good to see you.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good to see you. So Christina greater than Christ. Exactly. See, that was a sacrifice. Yeah. Just waiting to do your laundry for bingo. All right. That's a good idea. Okay. Grumpy Butterfly. Here is the link. Oh, damn it. There it goes. So yeah, that's a great idea. Get your cards before tomorrow. So if you, my bad. That's right. I gotta, I did the clearance scramble, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. With all 66. Okay. And now you can copy. All right. Now we'll paste. There we go. So there's bingo. And it's pinned to the chat in YouTube. So everybody, if you don't have a card, go get your card. I am going to go through before tomorrow's game, and I'm going to delete some of the duplicates. So just be sure that you have a card, number one. But if you've got multiples, then I'm going to delete some. And in fact, I may not, only because then that might screw up somebody. They might have a link to one, and then I delete the other, and it may screw. So I actually, second thought, I'm not going to do that. We'll figure it out. I may just wipe them all out like over the weekend, and then we'll start fresh on Monday. But we're just going to go with what we have. But we have 66 cards in play. So you want me to delete yours? Okay, I'll delete all but one, Jessica, and I'll send you the link to the one I keep. All right, because you have like 4 in there. But so you got like 4, but
yeah, and I couldn't get to any of them. That's
you
why
couldn't
I was
get
like,
to any of them. Yeah,
I don't know what was going on with it.
You know what? That's okay. Just start another one, like what you were doing. We're chill here. It doesn't matter. It's all good. And the reason being is just like the first one is free, but then like because you can play multiple cards. Just that what I'm gonna ask is that you just send $2 on Venmo. So so it just makes it fun. And just so that like people don't game the system and have like, they're running like 8 cards, increase their chances to win.
Oh my God, my grandpa used to do that. He used to
Right?
buy and it was 15 cards every Sunday. 15. I'm like, how the hell?
How do you keep track of all that shit, right? Like, how do you do that?
It's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. I don't know if there are any other mods here. Are there? Because if there are, please request up. Oh, it's just 2 today. Okay. All right. Well, and I don't know if we have any in YouTube, but these are the mods. Blaster Master 80 was there for a while. Ooh, good analogy, Blaster Master. Yeah. See, too bad I missed that. So Blaster Master's analogy about the sacrifice thing was, if Wolverine from the X-Men takes a bullet for you, is that a great sacrifice on his behalf? And I would say no, because he's gonna heal from it and all that. So RJ, I go live every day at 4:00 Eastern, 1 Pacific, around there. Sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later, depending on like my day job and all that, like, and what's going on in my life. But it's usually around that. But that is a great analogy.
Doing this full time?
When I can replace some income, but I'm getting there. So hopefully by June 30th, that's what I'm looking to do, like July.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, looking to do this by July. So I'm trying to get like followers and people joining like the memberships and all that stuff. They crucified Wolverine for your sins. We crucified Wolverine. Exactly. You just heal up and everything's good. So but the bingo thing, it's definitely not a moneymaker. It's just fun for everybody in chat. So everybody can totally play it free. But like I said, if you're trying to up your chances of winning because you're that competitive, I think it's fair. Throw me some Venmo and you can do that. So I think that's totally fair. But
some coins.
Yeah, exactly. But these are the mods, and they do a fantastic job of keeping the peace and like, just keeping things in line. That's what we like the best. So if you have any coins left, I think it would be great if you sent them some coins, because Reckless, Forever, and Jessica, they do such a bang up job. So I'm just really, really grateful that they're doing this. The mods are the best, RJ. You're absolutely right. They're doing the best.
Jessica was absolutely amazing in my life today. She was like all woman, like, yes. I was like, go girl.
Yeah.
You are amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't say enough about Jessica either. So you're pretty amazing. So, like I said, yeah, if you got any coins or anything, please throw them their way. And then also for the folks on YouTube, Blaster Master 80, Rainbow Ash, Pseudo V Science, and Peg the Patriarchy, who actually does double shifts on both sides. So they're just great people. So this is the least I could do. All right. What's the last thing we need to do? We need to find someone to raid. Anybody have any suggestions? I'm not going to look today.
Don't raid me, because I'm just testing my, I'm going to be going live just to test my stuff out to get some
All right,
help,
everybody raid Reckless. No better test than to have 500 people in your live to test shit out, right?
If people want to hang out, shit, why not? I mean, I don't care. Because I'll look like a dumbass by the end of the fucking thing, because I'll be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I've got my notebook. I'm ready to take some serious notes.
Hey.
So I can figure out what to do.
Okay. I hear you. No, we won't do that to you. Let's go raid Joel. How about that? Let's go raid Joel. And on top of that, I still need to ask him if I can be his friend. Yeah. I think it's just me, Christine. I have a contract with him, so not everybody has to pay him. It's just me. But I have to ask him today. Are we going to be friends today? And let's just see what he says. You know what? Maybe chat, you could pressure him a little bit. And by the way, he is on YouTube and TikTok. So everybody can go raid Joel. Joel reads the Bible. That's who we're going to go raid. And yeah, so maybe we can put a little pressure on him. Just say, hey, are you going to be trust friend? And just everybody just say that.
What did you do to him? Why he's not your friend?
Oh. Well, last night in Aaliyah's live, I said that Aaliyah said, oh, by the way, Joel and I are officially friends. And I said, well, that's messed up because he's not my friend and I have to pay him. And he just keeps telling me, oh yeah, soon, we'll be friends. Just keep the money coming soon. So, and then somebody in chat today said, you mean a black man paying a white man to be a friend? I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. That sounds really bad. But yeah, that's what's happening. Yeah.
He's gonna have to fix that.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, maybe we can put a little pressure on him. Maybe y'all can do that for me. So because yeah, Joel won't say he's my friend, and I'm a little sad by that. Yeah, I'm a little sad.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable, exactly. So we'll send the trustees after him. How about that? We'll send all the trustees after him, and put a little pressure on him. All right, don't pay him anymore. I'm under contract, RJ, and yeah, I'm under contract. I don't want him to sue me. So it's a bad contract. I get it. I was suckered. See, he's that persuasive. He suckered me into a bad contract. I didn't verify it. I trusted, didn't verify. Yeah, it happens.
For shame.
It happens. For shame. Yes, I broke my own rule. You're absolutely right.
And let that be the last time you break it.
It will be the last. I promise you. I promise you all. Yes, I've let you all down, trustees, but I promise you all, it will be the last. But you are the
Joel. What is it? Joel reads the Bible or Joel who?
Joel reads Bible.
Okay.
It's either Joel reads Bible or Joel reads the Bible. I'm not 100% sure. But
Joel reads Bible.
Joel reads Bible. Okay. But you are the CEO. No, Christina. I'm the COO. Just the COO. I just do operations behind the scenes. That's all I do. Yeah. Cause CEO, that's too like arrogant. You know what I mean? That's just too much ego.
Trying to be too humble. You got to give yourself credit for the community that you created. This is a valuable space.
I thank you. Yes. It's our community, right? Yes.
Yeah.
I laid the groundwork, but it's our community. So, and I'm happy with it too, man. I love this community. You guys are all awesome. I love you all. So, all right. Well, let's go raid Joel and try to get him to be my friend. And I'll see you all over there.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys over there.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.